No, not timeout. I want to hide them. Just kidding.
You missing what? Two people.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear us? I don't have audio on my headset.
Me neither.
Okay, we are on. Welcome to TCH Live Monday edition. This is Carolyn and
Austin.
here in Austin, Texas. We got some 510, if I remember correctly. And we're starting with a $25 double board bomb pot.
One of the new features of the updated software. So this is pretty exciting.
All right. Let's see if we can figure out what is going on with this bomb pot. We've got we have a heart flush on the top board. I see optimized with the queen high flush. I think that's probably best on the top board.
Still best. And then
Bottom board right now, it looks like
didn't see
4-5
much of
is the nuts. I don't
no 4-5.
see anybody with that.
J1 has 2 pair. Oh no, we got a 4-5 for Caitlin.
Caitlin has 4-5 on the bottom, which
With a
is
blocker.
best on there. She's going to go ahead and make the call.
Makes sense.
And they're going to chop up this pot.
Got some familiar faces as well as some new ones tonight. Should be an exciting lineup.
All right.
And I think we're still waiting for one more player.
So joining us at the table tonight, we see Caitlin, Jaywin, Anderson, also Slicer, Optimize, and then we've got Ethan joining us for the first time. And then I believe there's a couple people on the way.
And we're starting off with a straddle, so hopefully this is an exciting game for y'all.
Yeah, it looks like that's Jaywin with the straddle.
I think it's optimized.
Oh, is it? Oh. It's hard to tell just by forearms. The only person I can recognize is Anderson and Caitlin, so.
They both have beautiful forearms.
Yep.
It's true. Anderson getting a massage.
As one does.
Shout
yeah.
out Texas Royal Touch.
Indeed. And Rachel there, she's one of the best
She is.
on. Gonna go ahead and raise. Slicer gonna 3-bet to 150.
From the cutoff with the suited real ace seems pretty standard.
We got some big hands though here.
And Jalen with ace king. Wow, this is gonna be a fun first hand.
Yeah.
Starting off with a bang here. Gonna cold 4, right?
Yep.
To 600. And that's gonna get rid of everyone. Just
Nope.
kidding.
Got one customer. All right. These are some big stacks clashing early. So Jaywin sitting on just over 7,000.
Oh, what a flop.
Yeah.
Slicer with a nut flush draw, Jalen with the top. I imagine Jalen is gonna bet pretty like third pot here.
Yeah, looks to be just about right. 400 on the nose.
And Slicer has sort of a decision here.
JTN, I am joined by Austin, who was here last week with Aaron as well.
Yep. We got a new combo. We haven't done this before, right?
No, we have not.
Let's see how it goes. Hopefully you... Oh, wow.
All right.
What a turn card. So Jalen with top 2 now. Slicer picks up top pair to go along with the nut flush draw. I imagine Jalen's going to bet pretty big here. I think he's probably going to go somewhere in the range of like 1,500. And I can't see Slicer doing anything besides... Well, he's definitely continuing.
Yeah. It's a tough spot for Slicer's hand, though, because you have to, I mean,
Ooh,
he
Jake
knows he
goes
has to hit to win
small.
at Showdown. There's no cards that he can bluff at. He's either got to get there or fold on the river. So it is a tough spot. But he does
Like for
have,
that size, he just has
yeah.
pretty much the raw pot, I'd call.
Yeah, I mean, unless he's somehow up against like ace queen or something, or queens that are,
Works out.
you know, turning their hand into a bluff, but I don't think they're ever betting that size with that.
Right. So Jalen just doesn't have that many bluffs here, right, with his line.
No.
Um,
And with Slicer holding the ace of diamonds, he knows.
right, he blocks his primary. Well, yeah. Probably gonna go small-ish here, targeting sort of exactly what Slicer has.
21. Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, it's
pretty
Slicer.
trivial fold there. Jalen just like, what are his bluffs when he calls 4-bets, right? Like, is he gonna take queen and jacks and turn them into a bluff there? Probably not.
I would be very impressed with that if he did and it worked. So,
Right.
that's not what he had. He had the best hand by far, and Slicer knew it, and he folded, as you do. Ragnar Overby, it was good. I had a really fun time. I played a lot less poker than I was initially planning on playing, mostly because I was planning on kind of firing at the housewarming tournament, the WSOP housewarming tournament, multiple times if needed. And I fired at it once, and I busted out, and then I just decided that I didn't want to have to extend my trip. I really wanted to come home and see my baby. So I shut it down and just came home instead. Jaywin has ace
Jalen
king
is
again.
2 for 2 with ace king, so that's
Yeah.
a pretty nice way to start off. And Ethan, who we don't know too much about, I think he's from out of town, is what I've heard. I heard
He has some hair, some epic hair though.
He does. He does.
I love it.
I'm gonna have to ask him for some tips after this.
Yeah, me too.
And,
I wish my hair would do that.
Jalen goes with a
Very large.
big sizing here.
Yeah, 420.
Yeah.
So
8.5
from
bags. That's
50.
a huge size.
Yeah, probably unnecessarily huge, I think. Maybe 300 or even 275 makes more sense. I mean, he is in the small blind, so I get that he is.
If I were gonna guess, I would guess that he's targeting on there because he knows on's tendencies.
Sure, yeah.
So with
I
a hand
think
as good as ace king, he's trying to get action from on, which is a, pretty interesting exploit, right? Because I don't think that Joan is normally going to be using such a big size there.
Yeah, and we know On is going to play a wide range, but I also know On isn't calling anything that size without having a hand that, at least is playable in that spot. I mean, I
Playable,
could be wrong.
playable, and On's definition of playable is
Yeah, sure. That's very true.
definitely open to interpretation. We saw him do some wild things last week, and I mean,
Oh,
I'm sure
really?
you've seen him do some crazy
I
things. too.
have been
So,
victim to
some
On's
crazy
wildness.
things. Yeah, so
But I've also gotten some bluffs through against On, so he is definitely a wild card. Poker Monkey, did I see Aaron and Lottie in Vegas? I did not see Aaron at all. I did see Lottie. He was playing the Dealer's Choice tournament, and I saw him from afar. However, my husband knocked him out of a tournament at Golden Nugget the day before the WSOP started, so there's that.
and Slicer's hand gets better here, improves the top pair along with his open under. They flopped Facing the bet, I don't think there's anything to do here besides call. And that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, on needs a 7 and only a 7. Not gonna do it.
And let's see if On wants to turn this hand into a bluff. Decides to take a showdown, and I imagine Slicer is just going to check this back. Yep. Take it down. And that's a nice hand for Slicer.
Alright, let's see. Oh, just trying to get rid of these chat bots again. Hopefully, hopefully getting the right people out. Oh, chat bots. All right, let's see some stats. Where are people at to start? Some stack sizes. Slicer sitting on 11K, all the way down to on 2. Not to be confused with on 1.
Updated version.
Yeah. Yeah, his on 2.0 sitting on 3.3K. We'll take a look at that later on and see how things have changed.
As we all know, good old Texas poker. Some of the players sitting pretty ridiculously deep here.
Yep.
But that's what makes it fun.
It absolutely does. I played a cash game on Saturday. It was really the last full day that we were there. And my goal was to try and get the game to rival Texas Poker. It wasn't match the stack. It was 2-5, but it was a $1,200 cap, which is pretty reasonable.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and so nothing of note in this hand to really mention. So anyways, we had double board PLO bomb pots on the dealer change. We had the 7 deuce game on. What else did we have? Straddles were on. It was like an optional mandatory straddle. And it could rival a small 2-5 early on in the day. It was capped, so that was the only thing that kind of changed it a little bit. But it was a very fun table. So shout out to the poker room at Resorts World. That was very fun. It's a fun room there.
Yeah, I haven't been there. I heard it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it there. It's a nice casino, nice hotel too. So it's very upscale. I think they're trying to compete with the Wynn, but that's tough to do.
Yeah.
But they are doing a lot of things right, I think.
Plenty of action to go around there too, right? You don't have to be the best room. You just have to,
What's up, Carlo? Welcome. Carlo, I think I need to make you a moderator so you can get rid of these bots for me, because this is getting to be a full-time job. Let's see.
Ethan's going to go ahead and open up pocket threes here. And,
Threes twice in a row.
And Anderson going to go ahead and 3-bet the 7-8 suited in the small blind. Ethan sort of go both ways here.
I mean, I think he's getting a decent price.
Yeah,
Does that mind?
plenty of stack depth to step mine, but also fine to fold. You're really bottomist of pairs here, as I would say. I think it's very dependent on your opponent a lot of the time.
Anderson's got middle pair.
It was yesterday, too. I was in Arizona for a golf trip, and I came home, and the in-laws were here. And
Pretty nothing board here, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody really should have anything that crazy. Anderson probably has
what does it mean when the in-laws are here?
the slight advantage because he has more jacks.
Yeah, but we're all, like, we went to SeaWorld. We're doing shit, so. We made sure to get home to, like,
absolutely nothing.
Yep. Ethan gonna continue though. Then we'll float this flop. See if he can't hit a 3 on the turn.
It seems,
That's not
yeah.
gonna do it.
Seems reasonable for Ethan. Like Anderson's gonna have a lot of
They put a
ace
priority
king, ace
on like
queen, jack, or
Yeah,
ace
absolutely.
10
Um,
hands, but
Anderson picks up a gutter to go with his
helping the animals, which is probably
third pair now.
yeah.
Still sitting on the best hand, but obviously not feeling super confident after the call on the flop. King on the river is another scare card for both of them, really. I think it's just going to
yeah.
check.
Anderson might bluff with the best hand right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would be impressed if Ethan can turn his hand into a bluff. We'll see what happens. He's not going to. He's going to just show down the
Yeah, I think
threes, and we will move on to the next hand.
It's nice to tie it up.
It's tough to bluff there. Because, like,
Oh,
what
yeah, absolutely.
better hands is Anderson gonna fold?
I mean, 8-7 suited.
Pocket fives or 8-7. Like,
Yeah, I
pretty
mean,
much what
he
he had,
would,
right?
but-
like, you're targeting very slim.
Yes.
Like, you kind of just win against the ace high and then get called by all the 10s, jacks, and kings. So.
Yeah. It's weird that like Tatum
Yeah, I
went
don't think
off.
anything that got that far other than 8-7 suited is
Yeah, like
folding.
that's the only. Or
Yeah.
I guess 6-7 suited. Too,
Sure.
Or 6.
No,
8,
6-7.
6-8, 6-8,
Yeah,
6-8.
6-8,
Yeah.
yeah.
But he doesn't 3-bet that. So yeah, maybe only 7. Yeah, you know. Always funny.
I
when they
mean,
have
but
the
to be
one hand.
fair,
Yeah,
like,
it's
yeah, he probably doesn't.
Yeah.
3-bet. 6-7.
6-8, 6-8,
6-8.
6-7.
No,
two
6-7,
pair.
yes.
Yeah, 6-7 was
6-8.
2 pair, but he probably does 3-bet, but also that's 2 pairs.
Right.
We're doing great.
Did we just see Caitlin fold 9-8 suited? Oh, it was a 3-bet, I guess. But
3-bet from
Alright, Slicer.
Okay, so on open, Slicer 3-bet. Yeah, so that's
On
nice.
sick of opening and then folding to 3-bets, so he's gonna stick around. He's got King Jack. He flops the best of it, so
As on does.
he does.
Slicer gonna continue with small size, which I imagine is almost a pure range bet on this flop. Seven on the turn.
Slicer looking for an ace to win this. He doesn't. On's got a jack of clubs to go with
Slicer
it.
has
Yeah, we're just gonna take it down.
just a really bad hand
Yeah.
for this board, so pretty
Yep.
easy to fold that one. And on one's a nice one.
Yeah.
Off to a good start.
Yeah, On's one of those players who's notoriously a little out of line a lot of the time, or a lot out of line a lot of the time. I know it's, but sometimes he's just got it, and that's what happens. All right, let's see. Slicer gonna open his wheel ace.
And the trash hands are going to
Yep.
go ahead and fold. All right. What's going on in the chat?
I don't
Besides
know.
the flood of bots.
Yeah, this darn bot. All right. Anderson chiming in, saying hello to everyone in the chat.
As he does.
Yeah,
He
he's-
chimed in last week from the table as well.
Yep.
Always appreciated.
Yeah, gave us a heads up though on I want to say Thursday that big hand incoming because he knows so.
Anderson's a funny dude.
Mo the Cat asking, wasn't the board King XX for Ace 10 bad enough to not C bet?
I think for Slicer, when he 3-bets out of the small blind, it's like King Eye board is almost purely
Yeah,
going to be range bet there.
I think he's C betting.
Almost 100%.
Yeah.
Interesting to not peel there for optimize with sixes. Queen Eye boards, especially dry Queen Eye boards, don't necessarily favor. Oh, it was just an open. Never mind. Thought it was a 3-bet. I think my point stands.
I think it does too.
I think it actually.
I think you.
stands
I
even
think you
more.
can. I don't know
Yeah.
what the size was. I wasn't paying enough attention. I was
Yeah,
trying
that's
to read the
problem.
chat.
Sometimes I chime into hands and I'm like, I don't know what the action was.
Yeah.
But I don't know why he folded that. And
I
that's
was
like,
halfway
oh,
paying
yeah.
attention, and I think
Right.
it could have gone either way, and probably would have been fine. I probably float with sixes there.
I think me and you probably tend to have a slightly higher propensity to put money into plots
Yeah,
than Optimize does.
that's probably true. I don't think anyone's gonna argue.
Which is definitely not a shot at Optimize.
No.
But it's
He's
definitely just a comment on different play styles
yes.
that exist. And
Oh, someone.
There's
no,
merit-
I saw Jack 6, not Queen 6. I
yeah,
thought Queen
married
6
to
was
all
it.
of them. So
On has a pair, so
one
he's
has
never folding.
hair in a backdoor flush draw, Optimize with not much of anything.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet and take it down for on.
Yeah.
Got the straddle on every hand. That's pretty much right.
Yeah, I think it's been on every hand,
Nice.
which is exciting.
Nice.
That's always good.
Yeah, the only things that were a bummer when I was playing at Resorts World were they wouldn't let us double straddle. And they wouldn't let us run it twice.
I wonder.
It's really a bummer. Slicer's going to open 10
Probably-
8 suited.
That's probably just for speed of play, right? Which is a bummer because
I don't know what the logic was.
well, if you're
Because
right-
we sat around and argued with the dealer about it for like 5 minutes, so I think it would have gone faster if they just let us.
But if it's everything here is time, right? But if it's
Yeah.
rake, then the more hands you get out, it takes longer to run it twice. But,
Of course.
super marginal, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think it
I don't
makes
know.
all that much of a difference.
Yeah. That's why Texas poker is the best poker.
Yeah.
It's all time, so you can do literally whatever you want, and it makes everything super fun, If you want to straddle for all of your chips, which
Right.
has happened, you can do that, and then you can run the board 6 times, and
Well,
everybody will get it.
Not enough cards in the deck for that typically, but yes, in theory.
All right, whatever.
I think we
yeah.
cap it at 3,
You
but
can run
yeah.
it, you can run it a bunch of times, and it's fun for everyone. Everybody has a good time.
So this is kind of an interesting hand. Slicer opened from essentially under the gun. He was first to act pre-flop with 10-8 suited, which in and of itself is a relatively wide open, but we know this is a Texas cash game. You can open
Yeah.
with whatever you want.
So
from wherever you
short-handed,
want.
he's short-handed.
Yeah. He's also in the low jack, so
yeah, totally reasonable.
he's first to act, but he's,
yeah.
in position on most of the table anyways, so it's an interesting dynamic. Yeah,
Gets there
8
with a
felt
flop.
really good on this flop, and even better on the turn. And then River brings in the diamonds for Ethan. They both had the 8, and now Ethan's got the flush. So Slicer checking it over. We'll see if he wants to pay off a bet from Ethan.
Yeah.
It'll depend on sizing.
There's a lot of sizes you could go here, I think.
700, which feels very value-y.
Yeah. I think you can do that as sort of like you decide what you're trying to target here, right? Like, are you trying to target like his sort of like 7, 6s, 9s, 8x hands, or are you going greedy and trying to target his jack x hands, right?
I mean,
But
I think
I don't know how much jack x he has.
I don't
Probably not a ton.
know. Yeah. Early position open.
Probably not a ton.
Calls
Yeah.
from the calls the 3-bet pre. Ethan 3-betting with the 8-6 suited pre-flop from the cutoff and getting there.
Yeah.
You know.
Jack, no,
And this is not like a.
no chance. That's what I'm
This is not theory approved or anything, but I feel like when you take such a value size there, you're almost like less likely to get called when you have it than if you just like go.
Yeah, I
polar
think
and
you
just,
actually
like,
have to go
crazy,
either
right?
smaller or a whole lot bigger.
Yeah, yeah. He's
Um,
like 700 is just screaming, "I have it, please call me."
Right.
Right? But he's like, you're never bluffing for that size, right?
No, but if he goes like 450, I think Slicer just has to pay
Just
him
like
off because
side
it's
calls with
so
an 8, yeah.
small.
you got some of it back.
And I think you're gonna get paid the 450 there like 99% of the time, or you go like 1500 plus, and you'll get paid, 15% of the time, but you're gonna get paid a lot more. So.
Right. I think that's a
700
great-
is basically just
Yeah, I think that's a great example. Yeah, of where like that small size is just a little too thin, right? Because he's targeting exactly what Slicer has and he folds, right? So you
Right.
might as well just target the jack and hope that he has a jack, I guess. But
absolutely, yeah, I think that's probably and
like a,
one way or another, there's still a possibility that Slicer's gonna bluff catch with an 8,
right,
you
right,
know?
right. Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
or
yeah.
9s
That's
or
why-
10s or something like that.
Like if you make it like 1500, then Slicer is like maybe more likely to call with the 8 versus the 700, right?
Right.
Which is like a weird, interesting thing.
9 holes or
Looks like Streamlabs has decided to join the chat. Welcome, Streamlabs. Nice to see you.
You know, I drove my Tesla today. Drove myself and the woman.
So today here at Texas Card House Austin, we have a new tournament. It's a PLO tournament. Every Monday from now on, it's $60. It's a bargain, 2K guaranteed, and that starts in 15 minutes. So if you happen to be in town and want to, splash around a cheap PLO tournament, maybe you don't really know how to play PLO and you want to just get in there, $60.
Sounds pretty great.
Yeah.
Nothing more fun than splashing around in PLO, honestly.
Yeah, for $60. There's not another PLO game you can play for $60, so, get it. Not live, at least.
Get in there, yeah.
Yeah, most of the PLO games around town, when you look at what the blinds and stuff are, it's like, oh, yeah, that seems reasonable. And then you get
And you
there
go
and you're
sit
like,
down
oh,
and-
my God,
yeah.
what am I doing? I played
Yeah.
a 1-1 PLO game not too long ago. And it was capped, too. I mean, I think it was capped at 300. But, I mean, everybody was, most of the table had like 1,200 in front of them. It's like, this is a 1-1? Are you sure?
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes when you go late at night and you look at the PLO tables, you're like, wow, that must be like,
Right, they must
they're
be playing
10-20,
10-25 or
yeah.
something.
It's
They're like, oh, no,
It's
no.
actually 1-2, and
Yeah.
it's a $300 cap, and you're like, what happened, right? But PLO, obviously, super high variance. I've been dabbling with some PLO. It's a lot of fun.
I definitely think it's a lot of fun. I don't play it a ton, so I don't feel confident enough to buy in for a game
Oh, yeah.
that is that deep.
Yeah, yeah. No, I have 0. I feel like I tried to study a little bit, and then I was like, I have 0. This is
I
all
don't-
so complicated.
I don't even know what. I mostly just, when I look at my PLO hands, I like to think of how many 2-card hands can I make with
Yeah.
these 4 cards.
And how many of them were good.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I mean. Yeah, good
I think that's
2-card
like
hands.
actually a pretty reasonable way to.
That's usually how I try and look at it.
I feel like I went into it like, oh, I'm gonna get super good at PLO and learn all the theory and stuff, and now
But
I'm like,
you can, you're
oh, I'm just gonna sit and wait for double suited aces, and that's gonna be like.
Oh, see, I don't think that's the best
no, I'm
approach
just,
either.
I'm just
That's
kidding. Yeah. No, that's a horrible approach because you see that like people all the time just like wait for double suited aces and then they just overplay them when like the flop
yeah, and then
comes.
they get called by like Jack 10, 8, 7 double suited,
or
and
not,
they
yeah,
just lose.
not even right, like yeah. You just see, yeah, people get married to their hand. It's like the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, and a pair of aces in PLO is very, very bad.
Yeah, one pair in PLO.
Yeah, you got to improve from there. So
Right.
I see people get married to unsuited aces in PLO too, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Kind of like bump odds, right? I feel like bump odds would give me a good, like, sort of
Bump odds
intro into PLO.
give you a little bit of kind of what's the word I'm searching for? A little bit of training in when you need to just let it go.
Right. It becomes a lot. You become a lot better folding.
Yeah,
Right? Like hands that. If you go from Holdem to like bump odds, you're like, oh, I've never folded a boat in Holdem.
Right.
And then in bump odds, sometimes you're like, yep, bye.
You're like, I have bottom boat, and that's never
this
good
is
here.
Never, yeah, I've bought a boat, nothing on the other board. Right. Like this is just punting money if I put money in. All right, back to the poker. Little tangent, but I don't think we missed anything.
Not
Too exciting.
really.
Ethan with
Every,
ace king,
someone
right?
has ace king every hand, I think.
It's the day of the ace, or the night of the ace king.
Yeah. Must be nice.
He's gonna open it up to 50, which seems to be his standard size. Seems like he's gonna go 2.5 from everywhere.
Yeah, 50 over the $20 straddle is.
And Jalen's gonna get spicy with the 3-bet with the 9-4 suited. Love it, absolutely love it.
I also love it.
In position, playing really deep,
Ethan obviously
and
not going anywhere, but Jaywin now has.
Jalen's like, oh, oops.
He was like, I was kidding. I have 9 high, and it's
Ethan-
not even a good 9 high.
Ethan shows it, and Jalen goes, "Yep, that is better than my hand."
All right, let's see who we
But
got in here.
this is
We
what-
got some people chiming into the chat.
Shout out to Jaywin. He's always fun to watch play. He just started a vlog up, so if you
Yeah,
haven't,
check
check
it
it
out.
out. It's really, really good. It's high quality. I know he spends a lot of time working on it.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. He said he's trying to make sure all of his, everything about it is, just top notch quality.
Yeah.
So
It's been growing really fast. So
yeah,
props to
for
him.
sure.
And you might learn a thing or two. He's pretty good at poker.
Yeah, he also just became a coach on
Yeah.
what is
Jonathan
it, Poacher?
Little's
yeah,
site,
Jonathan
right?
Little's
Which is really
Poacher
cool.
coach, poker coach. I can't talk.
You'll get there.
I feel like that's words are hard, guys.
Yeah. They'll figure it out. There's enough context clues that people will be able to figure it out. But yeah. Pretty
Commentary tonight. It's me, Carolyn, and Austin.
cool. That's me.
Yep. Aaron is out in the Las Vegas WSOP streets.
Yep. Hopefully running it up.
Yeah, I know he cashed in the housewarming tournament. I believe on one bullet. So hey, that's profit.
Off to a good start.
Yeah. So I don't know what the payout was, but it's money.
Yeah.
He made money.
I'm sure
so
he's
that's
happy.
Good. Yeah. I was out there. I did not cash in that tournament, but I had a fun trip, and I feel like I lost a reasonable amount of money. It could have been a lot worse.
There you go. Always good to have expectations, right? Like,
Right.
And set them
Like I came
whatever
back with
it's-
money, so I mean I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Or raise.
Yes, Caitlin also has a vlog out as well as her podcast. All these people with all their
Oh,
content
Caitlin
creation.
started? I didn't know that Caitlin started.
Yeah.
Shout out Caitlin. I'll go
Yeah.
check it out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's a lot of work. The video editing is apparently, I haven't done it, but I've heard it takes a long time.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, yeah.
I have not done it either, but I also imagine it takes a really long time. And a lot of people. How did we turn on subscribers only mode and then immediately got a bot in the chat? How does that happen? And how come the bots don't get tapped? Like, how come Streamlabs doesn't shut them down for all their emojis? I don't get it. I don't know.
These are good questions. On with the straight on a 3 flush paired board. Gonna
Yeah,
just
nobody has
take it out.
anything.
Yeah.
Never getting paid. shows it for, you know,
Just for fun.
for fun. Says, yeah, I had a 4.
Yeah, I was in
We
the,
know on.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I was in the big blind. I had a 4. Oh. All right.
Okay.
Let's take a look at some stats.
Yeah, let's look at
look
who's
at
winning
some,
so far. Anybody winning yet? Yeah, we got some. J-Win
I just didn't want to use it.
starting strong.
With that first hand, top
Yeah.
2 versus Slicers, not flush draw.
Yep.
And
Slicer at the bottom, he has lost 2 big hands. So one to Ethan, one to J-Win. So that's putting him down 2.7. Everybody else, Ethan's made some profit. Everybody else pretty much even at this point.
Right. Only 20 or 19 hands in, so still very much getting things rolling.
All right. Let's get rid of this little thing so we can see what's going on. We've got Slicer.
8-5 deuce flop,
Yeah, he's got a gutter.
and looks like the straddle wasn't on this hand.
Interesting.
Um,
J-Win open. Slicer calls. It must have been
I'm
on.
sorry,
It
the
was
straddle-
on,
sorry,
yeah.
Sorry. Misread the numbers.
A lot of just projects that aren't economic.
Just seeing if you were awake. 4 pairs.
Otherwise, Slicer limped under the gun with 7-4, so I'm going to assume that the straddle was in fact on and Slicer defended.
Yeah, seems very reasonable.
Yeah.
um,
Ace King
And-
High is very good.
let's see if Jaren
and-
goes for a little bit of value here.
Oh, no, he's going to let Slicer
Ooh.
bluff at it. I imagine he
Gets
calls, though.
Snap call.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Snap calls.
I think Slicer led, right? Leads river.
Yeah.
So-
So I mean, J-Win didn't let him bluff.
Yeah.
He just
There's a.
made the decision on his own.
I guess 7 high is definitely going to be one of your worst hands.
For sure. Yeah.
Because 7 high is not very good. All right.
Vic, is Caitlin a pro player? Yes. She is a professional poker player and poker content creator. Those are her gigs. That's what she does.
On that grind. Hustling.
Yeah.
She's hustling. Just had a good result at a tournament. I heard,
Yeah.
which is
Big
good
to
for
big
her.
ones.
Shout
Well,
out.
she got second place in a big one, so that was very good for her.
Pretty awesome. And
Yeah,
Slicer
I'm still
gonna-
waiting for my 6-figure tournament win. Hasn't happened yet.
Seems like they're just going around.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's just so many big tournaments all the time.
right,
I wish I had more time to play them.
right.
But
So Slicer is gonna go ahead and open King 7 off here. Caitlin defends with King suited. That all seems very reasonable.
yeah, Caitlin
Slightly
gonna let it go.
Better board for. Well, not really. I don't know. Things get pretty neutral when it's blind
Blind
versus
versus
blind,
blind.
especially when there's multiple blinds there. So like that can.
Yeah, big
definitely
blind versus
interact
straddle
with both
is
of them.
could be pretty much anything.
I think in theory, Caitlin almost has a decent hand there, but to continue with, but it seems like a super
Yeah,
reasonable fold.
I
Seems
mean,
like she
I
blocks-
agree.
She blocks 8, 9. She blocks King 9, which are some relevant on the fringe, and then she also unblocks diamonds, which is also relevant on the fringe. But also you have King 8 of spades on a 9-4-5 2 diamond flop. So
She had King 8 of clubs, but
sorry,
yes,
clubs,
yeah.
but same thing. Right?
Um,
So it seems super reasonable to also just fold there.
Yeah, she hasn't committed
Again.
too many chips to the pot yet. Sometimes you have to just say, you know what, I'm in this pot for nothing. Why am I fighting for it? It's heads
I
up, blind
definitely-
versus blind.
Right. Those are
Let
the
it go.
spots where I definitely feel like I am more prone than most people to just fight for them for no reason, which
I have had
sometimes is good,
to
sometimes
kind
is
of
bad.
I've had to like legitimately say to myself in my head, like,
You can-
dude, what are you doing?
can fold, you can fold,
You can
it's
just
okay.
let it go.
Yeah, it's like you're allowed.
You don't have to prove anything to anybody.
Ooh, okay. That's an interesting turn here. So, he consumes trips and goes check.
And now he
goes
has a full
both,
house.
and he's just gonna bet not much.
I don't understand.
Oh, check.
He's just like, oh, I just have.
Yeah. And
nuts
Optimize's
with it. He's like,
reaction
okay.
is so great. Did you see him? He just kind of shrugs and goes, what? He's like,
Okay.
wait, this is a single raised pot. Like, I need to one check.
To be fair, I don't think
Like, it's
he
tough
was
to get,
ever
yeah.
giving him any more money there because he has an underpair to the board. But like,
What?
or maybe
So
flop.
crazy.
He
Like, if he
probably
bets the
could've-
turn, like, it's not so crazy that Optimize peels turn.
Sure.
So,
But Ethan was just not interested. When I was playing in the or the housewarming event out in Vegas, there was this guy. It was a 3-way pot, and the board ran out like the flop was like 7, 8, 4. It was I opened and I got 2 callers, and turn was a 7, and then river was I don't know, just a brick. And it just checked all the way through. And the guy on the button, he's like, or button or small blind, he's like, I have a 4. And I was like, that's good because I had king high. And the other guy just like slow rolls pocket 8s for 8s full. And we're like, did you think one of us was going to bet into you there? He's like, I don't know. I was like, you
Yeah.
were never, like, bet your own hand, bro. You're not getting paid any other way.
Have I ever been
for sure.
serious in it?
Sometimes it's just a bummer where you just have such a strong hand, but it's just so hard to get money in, especially out of position. But yeah,
Yeah, but no one saw that one
definitely
coming.
like, yeah. There are spots where you just have to feel
Well,
like,
I mean, but at the
just need
same
to
time,
bet.
you have to also just realize that, like, sometimes you're going to bet for value and just take it down.
Yeah,
and
and
that's
that's
all there is to it,
fine.
you know?
Yeah,
If
yeah,
nobody
yeah.
has anything,
Yeah.
nobody has anything.
Yeah, it's also like such a dream in those spots too, where like it's so rare for you to like think that you're gonna get somebody to bet, and then you're gonna raise, and then they're gonna give you more action, right? So all you're
Yeah.
really doing is like getting like one extra bet, where like you might bet, and that person with a 4 might just be like, yeah, I'm gonna call you anyways, right?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. And the way
Caitlin's
the
gonna take it down. Ace 3 suited.
who took that one, Caitlin?
Caitlin.
Right.
All right.
Getting in the pot.
Look at some.
Let's see who's playing what. We got some, I
But,
think, under the Lottie line. Just Caitlin. Caitlin under the Lottie line.
Just
Yeah.
23 hands though. It's a really small, and
Yeah.
Caitlin's been pretty card dead. So again, just getting started.
I mean, I did see her fold a couple hands that I don't know that I personally would have folded, but I also know that I don't. I mean, to
like
be
we
fair,
said,
I
me
don't.
and
I
Caroline
don't
have a propensity to put money in the
Yeah.
pot more than other people may. We're not saying that. There's
but
anything-
neither of us play professionally.
Exactly.
You know,
And-
so I think that's just such a huge difference.
Right, let's get back to this on,
Has a very good hand
Now
that
he
just
has an
got
even better
much
hand.
better.
and this is
Slicer sitting on a gutter
See,
that's no good if he gets there.
to me like this is definitely a spot where you can trap slow play as on, right? Because
Well, it's also this is a cash game. It's different. It's not a tournament.
right, for sure.
And
for
you
sure.
know you're up against a very aggressive opponent.
Right. And this is a board, like, that's a turn that's going to favor slice more, et cetera, et cetera. Let's see. I don't like
I
this
don't
lead.
either. I'm gonna lead out here. He's gonna get a snap fold out of slicer.
Slicer's like, well,
Yeah, that's like a discipline thing where you have to just, you want to put more money in this pot.
it's
But
just like,
there's
yeah.
just you have to allow your opponent, especially when they've been betting for 3 straight, and he's got king high. It's
Yeah.
either, he knows the only way he can win that hand is to bet at it.
I think the bigger problem with leading there is that it's just super hard to balance. Like you almost never see anybody just like weirdly lead there as a bluff, right? So for Slicer, it just becomes even easier to play against, right? You just fold.
Yeah, which is why, like in that spot, I like a check raise on the flop there because your hand's great and can only get better, really. And then you take over the betting lead, and then if somebody happens to have, an ace there or two pair or something, they're going to feel much more compelled to call you, and you have the opportunity to put more money in the pot without it being super obvious that you just are holding the nuts.
I think any way that you wanted to put more money into that pot besides donk leading the river would be fine.
Yeah, for sure. That is the number one way to tell your opponents that you just got it.
I have it.
Yeah.
And on flops, top pair.
On is running pretty good.
But I can't, I do like On's mentality of, he's not scared to put money in. He's not scared to take weird lines. And, a lot of the times it actually does get him.
Yeah,
Paid. So
absolutely.
he sticks to his
Well,
strategy, Like he knows what he's doing. He knows.
Well, he knows
strategy.
his image too.
Yeah, exactly.
He knows that the players at the table are going to.
Right. Like if anybody is going to get called light in that spot, it's
on.
Be on.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, for sure.
Ragnar will be giving props to Caitlin for playing. She's always played solid, but he's saying she's kind of tightened up her playing style. Which again, if this is how you pay your bills, I think that is an appropriate playing style. But as someone who, is definitely more of a recreational player, I probably have a lot higher variance because I will play some nonsense. But I'll also win some crazy hands, It's just kind of the nature of the game. Optimize opening with 6-4 suited.
On button.
On just gonna flat.
Gonna lay the little trap from the small blind with ace queen. Off, which brings Slicer in. Ooh, spicy. Bottom pair, backdoor flush draw for optimized. Front door flush draw for Slicer. Top pair for on. Check, check, check.
Yeah,
Bet
Slicer
on.
now has
Ooh,
two pair. Or no, Slicer now has a pair and a flush draw.
Bottom pair and flush draw.
On sitting on top pair.
Check, check,
Optimize. Nothing. King of clubs. Slicer getting
Slicer
there.
Gets there. On gonna decides now's the time to lead out.
Seems like a poor choice, but okay. Says last time I let out on the river, you just folded.
We're gonna get raised, and that's gonna put him into a pretty tough spot here. But imagine, this is just gonna be a call. You could just kind of side call. You say, very, very good hand here.
It's basically, oh no. Yeah, on made it 80. It's 180 more to call.
Yeah,
I don't think he's ever
don't know how
calling
you can
there.
get away from this. But this is I think an example of a spot where
I think you have to call there.
yeah.
Just because, if you are always folding top pair, top kicker on that run out, then you're going to get exploited. So
Right.
you got to just call and be wrong.
I was just gonna say that's a spot where, especially from out of position, it's nicer to just 3-bet a holding like ace queen, right?
Yeah.
Because you just get a hand like queen 3 suited to fold, and then you don't put yourself into this really tough river spot, right?
Yeah, he just takes it down pre-flop if he 3-bets there.
Right. But also like Optimize might decide to come along and button with a 6-4 suited, but that's not really the point. Is just like you then also have the betting lead, right? So then when
Right.
you have like this strong hand, you don't have to play it so cagey, right? And then let your lets your
try and
opponents then,
let
realize-
Optimize hang himself there.
right,
Because
which is just tricky. And then,
especially against an opponent like Optimize, who I think we all know is on the tighter side, who is not. I don't think he's ever gonna hang himself there, really.
right. Also, you take it. It's like multi-way now, where like Slicer just kind of doesn't have to do anything, and then just gets to realize the full equity of his hand.
He
right?
literally didn't have to do anything.
Yeah,
he
and he has
just
queen
checked
three
it down to the
suited, which
river.
is like not a very good hand.
No.
But because you know,
Not doing it on the rotation, we can't adjust it.
All right, Queen 9-9 on the flop. 2 clubs, 1 diamond. We have 2 players holding backdoor diamonds.
Ethan
And-
has a gutter.
Yeah, King High is currently the best, also. So
No, it seems like whoever bets at this is going to take it down. Which is what
Yep.
happens. There you go. Aggression wins hands.
sure does.
All right. Moving right along. Have you seen Everybody Everywhere, whatever that movie is? Like everything, everywhere, every something.
I don't think
something?
so. No.
Okay. Aaron was telling me to go see it. If somebody in the chat can help me out and tell me what the movie's called, that would be great.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about,
But yeah, I've been meaning to go see it. I've heard it's really good. So.
have you seen the new Top Gun movie?
Maverick? Do you see
I
it?
haven't either.
Okay.
No, but everybody says it's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good. I've
yeah.
heard it's awesome. And like everyone's like, no, you have to go see it. I'm like, I haven't even seen the first one. But
I
okay.
also haven't seen the first one.
Yeah.
But I just haven't seen that many movies.
Me neither.
Ragnar says I root for Jalen a lot more if he would stop wearing Yankees hat.
I agree.
So much. It doesn't matter what happens.
You know, we'll let him know.
Yeah, you're making a lot of enemies by wearing a Yankees hat at the table.
We're all about constructive criticism here. So.
All right, so we have On and Anderson in this hand. It was a raise, 3-bet,
And a call.
call,
And
and pocket 8s are way good.
yeah, I expect On to turn this hand into a bluff here.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
so small.
like Anderson has
And
to call.
I like it. Oh man, I like that.
Does that
idea
ever
from-
work for $30?
That's what I was gonna say. I really.
I mean,
like
I actually think if Anderson bets $30 there, On would fold with Jack High, but you know.
I think that is a really decent thought from On there. But just
Sure, I
make
mean,
it-
you're risking the absolute minimum to try and take down a $400 pot, so I
I was-
kind of love it.
Yeah, I was saying more just like it's a good spot to bluff because Anderson isn't really gonna check behind with anything good on the
okay.
turn there. So just commit to it and like bet a little bit more and get like Anderson almost went into full his eights.
I know. If
He
On
almost
bets
folded to the
like
30,
150
right?
there,
Yeah,
I think he
Anderson-
just takes it down.
You're just getting a lot of folds there, right? Because like, position works so much for the position player too. But that's an example where like Anderson is pretty capped there, right? When he checks back flop and turn
Yeah.
after 3-betting with a king and then an ace, like he's just not gonna have many strong hands and like you're just gonna get him to fold like exactly what he had a bunch of the time there.
Got Doyle versus Doyle.
Yeah, but not for 30.
No, $30
I don't
is
really
getting
know.
called by
Yeah, literally.
by King High there.
Yeah. I guess
Oh, no,
he
king
could-
on the board. Queen
maybe
high.
he's going for value against like 9-10 suited.
Sure,
Just
maybe.
super sick.
Like 10 High is definitely calling me.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah,
Give me
exactly.
$30.
That's an
I'm
on-
gonna take this
yeah.
one down with Jack 5 offsuit. Not sure how that happened.
That's an on-2 play, not an on-1 play. So.
On to the updated
Yeah.
and improved version.
The $30 donk river bet is part of the new software. All right, moving along. Hand number 30.
Yeah, 30 hands. That's pretty good so
interesting
far.
game so far.
Yeah, we're an hour in, ish. Less than that because we started late.
Definitely seen.
So
some
if you're
good
wondering how
hands.
many hands per hour that you normally see in a live cash game,
30 would be right at the upper end of
30 is
what-
pretty. I mean, 30 is definitely pretty on point. I mean,
This game moves faster because of the fewer bump bots,
yes.
right? 'Cause sometimes that.
But it's not going to be that many more hands or fewer hands. You probably see
Yeah.
28 right, in a regular
seems-
game.
yeah.
That's
very reasonable.
but we got John here dealing, and he definitely is very quick And our table is just, it works so good. Like, it just, you can fly through these hands now.
For sure.
So we should be able to get 120 hands in a stream instead of 100, which was what we were at before. So that's pretty cool.
There you go. More poker action. For
Yeah. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Thank you to
$25 straddle.
Ragnar Overby.
Yeah. Thanks, Ragnar. That is what I
Alright.
was thinking of. But I heard that was really good. Aaron was telling me that was great.
Yeah, I have
And
not
I've
seen
been
it.
trying to see it for the last week, but just can't find time to go sit in a theater for however long the movie is.
All right,
Alright,
on
got a
straddling
bunch
to 25
of
this time.
garbage
Yeah,
so
these are
far.
some bad hands.
Jalen
Even
reluctantly-
Jaywin
reluctantly
mucking.
lets go of the 10-3 suited.
Optimized
And
calling.
on just says, no, none of that. None of that.
He's like, if you had a hand, you would have
Get,
raised.
get
Get out of
my-
here.
Get out of my pot. He shows him. Shows him
He's
right
like,
in
yeah,
front
I
of
mean,
me. He
Jack
says,
High
yep.
was good.
Yep.
So.
He's like, yep.
Yeah, and Optimized says, well,
Well,
I mean,
whatever.
your hand was ahead, so I guess it's fine.
Jackson 5.
You know, sometimes that works. On is not going to be one to let that get through.
Imagine if you're raising with Jack 5 there, you're pretty much raising with everything.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. If
it
you're
seems
trying to
like
get,
if you're trying to get,
if you're trying to
yeah.
limp from the big blind against on straddle, you better be trapping, as
prepared,
otherwise you're
yeah.
getting raised 100% of the time.
Right. Be
If you just want to set $15 on fire, then go for it.
Slicer gonna go ahead and
Fold the
Fold.
ace three. Feel like I've seen him open that at least once just tonight. So
He was-
balance, you know.
he was on the button before. Now he's first out.
Was he? I thought he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Never mind.
positionally,
I
fold.
thought he was in similar position early, but all right. Ace three is a gutter. What else we got in here? 4-5 has a
clubs,
pair
no
and
pair. Anderson with his own version of ace 3,
yes.
and Jaywin with 2 overs, and sort of backdoor straight draw,
Yeah, I
guess.
don't think anybody's going anywhere really on this board.
Yeah. Well, he did that.
Anderson, I guess, could fold, but
Anderson can definitely find a fold, I think.
I encourage him to continue. Especially with the call in between, that pot's bloated. You bink a 5 on the turn, and on's paying you off 100% of the time because you got 2 pair, and J1 will probably bluff at it again.
Alright. So on is now open-ended. Anderson picks up
A pair,
a pair, and Jaywin still
pretending that he has the best hand.
2 overs. And On's gonna lead right out for
He has the best hand. He
basically
should.
a pot, or no, thought there were 4 bucks.
380
but-
into
515.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not there that often. Every time I-
Anderson gonna let it go now. Picks up the pair and says, "That's not good."
Jaywin says, "Well, this was fun."
He says sometimes when
Hello, Gary C.
3 days in a row, he'll get a hotel room.
I see you have a new name.
He lives in like.
You're giving us your full identity? Is that real?
That's right, everybody. Thank you very much. That's my time. You've got
Okay.
Derek coming in for
Cool. Hi.
Good luck.
Nice to see you. I hope you behave yourself today. We have a dealer change bomb pot. Double board coming on up.
Here we go.
Buddy's gonna win. Maybe 2 people.
Or 4.
That's also or 6
Or just everybody.
or 5. I mean, I think any number of people could win in a double board bomb pot. It's unlikely though. Oh, my mom's in the chat. Hi, Mom. She called me, I think, yesterday, and I was Oh, that's right. That's right, Gary. See, that's why you're Gary Carlson. That's clever. And I
Saying something.
didn't answer. I was in Vegas and it was loud, and I didn't hear my phone ring. And then I got back to her today, so she said she would chime in. So now I'm just gonna talk to my mom through the live stream. You know, that's it. Tell her all about my adventures in Vegas. I didn't win any money.
But you didn't lose that much.
But I
either.
didn't lose that much money.
So that's basically winning.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's not bad. I also won a tournament here in Austin the day before we left here at Texas Card House. So paid for the trip. So that was good.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. And it looks like we're all set for our second double board bomb pot of the evening.
Yeah, it looks like we are doing just dealer change bomb pots, but we are using a separate button so that everybody gets, so the button actually moves and doesn't end up in the 6th spot.
All right, we took the bomb.
All right, just kidding.
Off the table. So
This must have caused some kind of issue.
10, 6, 6. Gotcha.
All right, so this is probably
Oh.
going to go
On
incorrectly. John
has-
On has,
3 jacks.
yep, gonna
Just
bet
gonna
it.
leave
Just gonna
right,
like,
right out, which is great. No fear.
I mean, he beats a 10 on the top. He's got an overpair on the bottom.
Just pure aggression.
Definitely going to get called by better. And is going to have a really hard time improving since there is 1 jack left in this deck. Caitlin has top boat, trapping, as one does.
Good hand, and she has a backwards control on the bottom board. Nice queen.
All right, I'm looking for,
No deuce 4.
yeah, there. Jack somehow still good on, no, 3-5, 3-5. And
Slicer
Optimize
has,
has 6-7 also. He's got 2 pair and the
Yeah.
nut straight draw on
Slicer
there.
and Optimize both have
6-7.
really similar hands that. Or just, these are the
Optimize
hands
is
that-
leading out here with a draw on one board and the 6 on the other. So he's got trips on the top and a draw on the bottom, which feels so strong, but in reality, he has a losing hand on top and king high on the bottom. So I get what he's trying to accomplish here. And Caitlin's trapping, so he has no idea how strong her hand is. But it's a really tough spot to be in for him, and I think he's going to lose quite a few chips here. Somehow, some of them might be to On, too, who's just sticking around with 3 jacks.
Which is good on the bottom.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm getting at.
I don't.
No,
Oop,
he gets there. But Diamonds comes in, so,
Probably just checks around.
yeah.
Caitlin can go for value, I think.
Absolutely, she can. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I don't
although
love
it's
that
sort
she
of a
didn't
spot-
bet. She hasn't raised at any point in time, so she really didn't. She flopped the effective nuts basically, but the run out includes an overcard, so queens. She's losing to queens now, and a straight flush draw. So Jack 9 of diamonds also beats her now.
She blocks it.
Oh, never mind. She has the blocker to that. JK.
That's actually, yeah. That's a really nice sizing for Caitlin, I think. Because this is a spot where you like very much want to get called by in both spots, right? So,
Well, and diamonds gets there on both boards,
right.
so,
you can,
she
that's-
can rep that
yeah, and
for
then
sure.
Both of them make it's a very disciplined pull for both players. Well, not really on, because he had jacks, but Slicer makes a nice disciplined pull. on goes. Just
Yeah, I don't think Slicer can call there. He needed that 4 to be a different shape.
He's just playing a pure guessing game there, right? Which isn't that fun.
Someone asking my mom if she approves of my gambling addiction. She approves of my poker exploits.
Trying to explain.
We're not gonna. I'm not gonna say she approves of other gambling, but I think she approves.
That sounded like a
I
yes.
think.
to me.
I think she approves.
That sounded like a yes.
My mother might be watching.
She doesn't give me too much of a hard time about it, so I guess it's probably okay. I haven't asked her for money, so it's probably okay. Yeah, that bomb pot, I don't know which way I prefer the play. It's whether I think it works out better at, like, trapping with the nuts and then risking, a run out that you end up losing. But also scooping because you get slicer to fold the straight there. Or just trying to take it down, on the turn or wherever by betting everybody else off their hands. I don't know, it's just kind of a fine line, I think.
Oh my gosh, that's the worst.
Bomb pots are impossible. Unless you have nut.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the bomb pot, is that it's entirely unsolved. Like,
Not impossible, but it just puts you in these like very, very tricky spots where like there's so many things that are probably like you can reasonably do so many things, right?
right, and like I said, Slicer's hand was just like, it felt so strong there,
Right.
but especially three ways when On's calling down the whole
Yeah.
way,
I think
like
that's
you got to
exact-
assume you're getting scooped.
Right.
Even I mean, on folds, I think heads up, you probably have the equity to call because you're so strong on both boards.
Right.
But it's still a really tough call.
Right.
And if Caitlin has diamonds, you're just losing both boards.
Yeah, that's the really.
That was
tricky
the
thing for
killer
him,
because
right?
I think
Yeah.
if the top board wasn't a diamond, I think he can call with trips on top
Yeah,
and the straight on the
somebody can
bottom.
so reasonably have diamonds there, right?
Mhm.
So it
Yeah,
just-
absolutely.
Yeah. Very disciplined. All right, we got a fun hand going on here. So Anderson open-ended, Caitlin also open-ended to higher and breaks out. I think ace high is good.
That it is.
So let's see if anybody wants to bluff at this. I imagine the bluff will get through. Do you know what the betting action was? I wasn't.
And they'll look
There
at
we
the.
go.
Oh, where'd it go?
Coward.
It only comes up when it's heads up.
Hey.
Looks like we
Neither player
just
wants
checked
to show
around,
their
and
hand.
ace high is gonna be good.
Ace high wins.
God damn it, it would have gotten through anyway. Damn it.
I had 5 highs, like I turned open-ended.
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't know how we got to that point
Right.
with everybody still in there, and I guess it just went check on the
I was open
flop.
on the turn too. I got stubborn. You'll have to answer to that shit.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Apparently Mel was just trying to keep up with the dealer. It just went too fast. Nobody wanted to fight for that one, really.
He's probably saying, look at how beautiful that shiny
And on we go.
That's a handsome man. I bet he would never flip off the lady at the table. Looks like a fine
Little does he
gentleman.
All right, optimize this. Pocket
Oh,
fives.
stream just went down.
Very reasonable.
That's not good.
Yeah, I see a lot of people, especially in the smaller stakes games, probably not in this game ever, but, sometimes even in the 2-5 game, just limp the pocket fives there. I just think
Rockets.
I don't like it. I don't like it when people do that.
Yeah.
It seems silly. But then they'll like call an all in or something, They're never folding the hand, but they don't want to rep anything better. Which means when you raise and then 3-bet them and they still call you, you're like, oh well, you have 3s through 7s.
Yeah.
Like, I know where I'm at now. So I think it's not the best play.
5 and 6 folds.
All right, Optimize now has folded the 10-8 offsuit.
Raise to 80.
On not going to play 9-3 offsuit.
Make sure this
Seems like
gets
a tight
done.
fold from
I
On.
didn't.
I figured he was in
I
there.
thought you were folding.
All
So.
right, yeah, that's basically top of Anderson just looks like take down.
Yeah.
As much of anything.
No,
And Anderson goes, I finally had a hand.
Oh, man. Oh, we want to know about Anderson's tattoo. It is, it's a suit jacket with then the suits underneath.
We'll be at 5 straddles for 20.
I'll register now. Hold me out until I finish this game. Then I'll play.
If somebody's chiming in and say, why raise the small pocket pair and maybe win $15, see a flop and maybe double up?
What was the comment?
So why raise a small pocket pair and maybe win $15, see a flop and maybe double up? Because anybody who's gonna double you up is raising pre-flop anyways. And if you just limp call that raise, you're announcing to the table what you have a lot of the time, especially if you're somebody who will open a lot of their, queen jack suited and ace 10 suited, things like that. Like, you're basically, if you are opening those all the time but just limp calling with pocket fives every time, then when you limp call with your pocket fives, your opponent knows exactly where he's at.
Right. Yeah, I think the thing that makes you, the theoretical goal, right, is to make it as difficult for your opponents to play against you as possible, right?
Right.
So then that's why, we talk about trying to be as balanced as possible,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. But if you're doing something that you only do with a very specific range of hands, such as limping small pocket pairs, that becomes really easy for somebody that you're playing against to exploit you, right, and put you on just sort of that range. And then that's sort of the problem with limping in general, right? Like, there's places where it's okay to overlimp a lot of the time. Or not a lot of the time, but there are definitely spots where it's okay to overlimp, right? Where you have
Yeah.
6 people call, or someone opens from early and 6 people call, and then you have a hand like pocket 8s on the button. It seems totally fine to overcall there or whatever, right? But if you're just limping in with pocket 5s, then it makes it really easy for your opponents to play against you.
Yeah.
Ooh, 2-pair outflops, jacks. Ooh,
Whatever you want.
this would be fun. Ooh, on with the 2-pair too.
On's not going
Let's see if On goes with
anywhere.
let's see if he goes for the raise here.
I think in theory you could definitely go for the raise for protection. There's a ton of draws on that board. And then he just boats up.
Just
Oh my
such a
god.
tough card for Slicer here too.
Yeah, if Slicer was, if On had 2-pair, there's combinations out there that On could have that just got counterfeit. But there's also combinations out there that On has that are now full houses. So we'll see how this plays out. Obviously, On's gonna try and get maximum chips here, and then
This is just a really tough hand for Slicer.
and he checks it back.
Runs out of value.
So good.
Nicely played.
Yeah, he's got 2-pair with the overpair to the board. I think it's that's a very wise check back. On did do the thing that we gave him a hard time about, though. He didn't do it. He did not donk lead river with the nuts. So good job, On. I'm sorry that you didn't get more value.
That's definitely a slightly different spot, I think, right? Because on the other board was an ace high board, right? Where Slicer in theory has a lot of just like
I mean, Slicer still, in theory, has all the overpairs there that are still going to call him, you know? Which is exactly what he was holding.
right. No, I'm saying I
So-
like a donk lead on that board a lot more than the other one, the one that we just saw, right? Like for on in that spot, it's better to lead because he has like he can definitely get called by like.
Well, and nothing
jacks
gets
through
there,
kings.
so I think. Well, actually, no. I'm sorry. There was a million straights there, but the flush
Yeah.
draw misses. So you can definitely bet repping missed clubs.
Yeah, I think you just have on that spot has a lot more hands that interact with the board and aren't the nuts that he can lead.
Yeah.
Maybe bluff, but in the other spot, it's just like when he leads on that texture, it's just like yeah, the nuts every time. There. Like Slicer is definitely a much trickier spot. If he
Eric chiming in.
relevant.
Please have straight. Yes, that's what honest thinking there is like. Please have Jack Queen and bet big, and I'm gonna raise, and then you're gonna have to call me, but not the case. Anderson mixing it up here with the 8-3 suited. Ethan thinking about. Yeah, Anderson trying to get some of that on money, but he better watch out.
I'll go with driver.
spades on the river. Changes nothing.
It's an easy move.
No, that's not true.
Six bets.
I got really,
I'm
really
going to
pumped up
go
Friday.
for
Screamed at the top of my lungs.
180, I think.
By saying that I think Zach is hot. Guess what? I sit on his face.
Which one's that?
The hot one.
very mergy
The
type.
one that plays.
What, trying to get called by a 9 or you're turning your 10 into a bluff? Like,
He won the
who knows? But this is on 2.
On to is it's the glasses. I think they give him.
All right, blinds.
Let's not speculate and start like actual conspiracy theory though. I was gonna say they make him better at poker, but I assure you they do not let him know what the cards are.
That's the part I live with.
He can see his cards a whole lot better.
Yeah.
All right, Ethan, gonna open up Jack 10 off here. He's been, hasn't had too many hands to play with, but he's been trying to mix it up as much as he can, it seems like. Let's have a look at some V-pips.
Yeah, we're gonna just take a peek. Ethan down near the bottom. No one is under the lottie line though. So hats off to everybody. We'll show this at the end of the hand.
On 2 is racing out to that lead as usual.
Yeah, and the
All
beauty
right.
of it is that he's running good too. So we got Jack 10 versus Jack 10.
What a fun flop for 2 Jack 10s. Let's
Both
see how
holding a
both
heart
players
on a
decide to
2
play.
heart open-ended flop, and somehow optimized in here with 6-4. I think he's gonna win this. Oh, never mind.
Optimize is just sitting here like, oh, how did I get here?
It's like, why do I always have 6-4 on the button and feel compelled to just
Yeah.
like play it?
One day when you slowly, maybe it's rainy outside.
On goes for the check raise.
We always keep players.
Love it.
I do too.
Absolutely
I think
love it.
that's
Anything could happen.
Okay, Jay, we don't shoot there.
that would probably be my go-to move in that spot also. Again, trying to take over the betting lead,
Anything, you might have to kiss it.
trying to build up this pot for when you get there, but you also are able to rep a made hand against a draw like Jack 10.
Can't get canceled.
I'll make it Jonathan Little.
It just gives you so many more options when you're the aggressor.
Very much can have hands like Queen 9, pocket 9s, pocket deuces.
Ace Queen.
Oh, if this
Uh,
string had any power to cancel anybody, I wouldn't still be around.
I don't know.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
There's a
Plenty
lot of hands. We
value,
saw
so you
on
gotta
limp
find
with Ace Queen
Sure. And he's-
earlier, so that's
the
in
beauty
his
of
limping.
aggression here, right? He
Yeah.
gets his opponent to fold the exact same hand.
Yep. Yep.
Well done, on.
That's pretty good. That's really good.
It's always a tough card, like in Ethan's spot there too. You're just like, oh no, like the board pairs and then your straight draw feels so much worse, right? Because like I have to get there, and I also have to be good with the straight, right? When the board pairs in the turn, so you're just like, I guess he can have it.
Yep. And then there's like even
What is the lowest
Yeah.
amount?
Yeah.
and anybody who's holding a queen there is saying, "Oh, now I have 2 pair," even if they're holding queen 8 or something. That's just otherwise not super strong. Their hand just got so much better.
What?
All right, optimize.
So the real hand this
Wakes
time.
up with not 6-4.
Is this like an annual number? Or?
The raise.
It's like a one-time thing, but it's like a
On
boyfriend
has an ace as well.
that you would not be interested
Will
in,
not be
but
folding.
is paying you this amount.
Anderson gonna stick around with suited Jack 9.
You have
Heads
Caitlin.
up, Texas Poker.
Let's see if Caitlin will play this hand. It is not good, but she did already put $20 in. I don't know. I think I just defend because I'm a donkey like that. Like, I don't know. I already put 20 bucks in and
Definitely fringy.
would have flopped a pair and had the best hand. So, I mean, oh no, just kidding. Anderson has a jack. But still, did she have the ace of hearts? I don't know. No, the ace of hearts is in someone else's hand. Never mind.
I mean,
Checks around. Anderson's gonna go ahead and bet. And if you're optimized, yeah, you kind of hate your life. And on.
You're like, why did I get called so many ways?
Yeah. Why is the flop
And then,
Jack 7-5?
yeah.
And why is it turning 8? Like,
way low.
my
Sound that bad.
my
Yeah.
opponent's ranges interact with this board so well, and my hand doesn't at all.
Right.
So you're just like,
So
all
wait,
right,
it has to be 6 hours long.
live to fight another
Yeah,
day.
it's 6 hours and you're not allowed to like.
And I mean, I'm doing whatever she wants for the whole 6 hours.
That was a spot where
Like 27 hours an
when I
hour.
started playing, I would just like
Like you have to run her.
hammer the fact that like I had a better range pre-flop, and I would just lose so much money. Because sometimes you just have to recognize that like your opponents are just gonna have a lot of things, right? And so when you fire like 3 bullets to a board like that, you're just punting.
Yeah, no, there's that's like that's my favorite spot, like where Optimize was in that spot. That's my favorite spot when you are playing something other than like Ace Queen, you know, where you're playing pocket sevens and you flop a set. That's my favorite spot to check
See, you're just lying.
and then let somebody else hang themselves
That seems like a lot of work.
on the, you know,
Probably repulsive.
on further streets, things like that.
Right.
Where you know, that board doesn't interact with your hand. You have 9 times out of 10, you have nothing there.
Right.
So let your opponents think that their top pair's way good.
For 6 hours? Perfect.
Ethan just smashes this board with
Yeah.
Jack 5. I think he just called an open from Optimize. Yeah, I'd like to see him bet here for sure. There's so many hands you can get value from, and I'd like to see him use a relatively big size. I think that hands are
110.
mostly inelastic. I think he could go a little bigger than that.
Oh, so we're supposed to gamble.
Oh yeah,
Do you want? But yeah, there has to be real money on the line. That's cool.
yeah.
All right. We
Me and
were
Aaron
reminded.
Me and Aaron
$20.
did 20
Oh, you
bucks
did.
last time,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. Then we're
Don't,
good.
don't, you don't
I
have
knew
to-
you were good for
you
it.
don't
I
have
just wanted to make
encourage
sure.
me. Aaron took $20 from me without it. He didn't even ask me. He didn't even ask me if it was okay. He just said, "All right, let's get."
We're just gambling.
Yeah.
Give me your money. You'll probably win this one. Oops. Get out of my face, ads.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I'll let you go first if you want, though.
Okay. So I just do, what is it? Exclamation point gamble?
Yeah, and then a number. You have to have enough points.
I think I have some. Let's see if I can do 20.
Hello, Craig.
Five folds, 6 folds, 7 folds, 8
All right.
Now,
Who's going to
Check your points first. You might not have enough.
63.
Oh, yeah, you're good. You rolled a 60. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Shoot. Let's see what I can do with that.
Wow, high roller. I'm still trying to build up my points bank.
I think I just hit like a couple, like, of like 99 or 100 or whatever. And that's how I got them. I rolled a 10. Yeah, that
All
sounds
right.
about right.
Well, we'll do it again
that's-
in an hour, yeah?
That's half an hour, actually.
Okay,
30
yeah, we'll
minutes,
do it
yeah.
again.
All right, here's
Oh, you can-
$20.
Okay, yeah.
We're just
that's
gonna leave
fine.
it there.
I was like, I'm not worried.
I'm not
I'm not
mad that
worried
we
that you-
started this late because
Never is.
What's the
Especially
worst?
because I already lost the first one. But now I can only lose, I don't know.
However many more there
Yeah.
are. All right. Optimize with pot threes from the straddle. I'm gonna go open up the queen nine suited. Bunch of garbage. Bunch of garbage. Bunch of garbage.
I don't think I've seen
Ooh,
Jaywin
Jaywin.
play a hand recently, so here we go.
Joan he's been trying. 9-4 suited was good enough for that 3-bet
That's
for him,
right.
but he seems like he's been very card dead. But well, this is sort of a spot where this is just gonna go full. But
I have no idea. 5 fold.
interesting
From them 15 minutes.
interesting sizing from Jim. Because we saw him use a huge sizing earlier.
Right.
Right? And now he's using this is a much smaller size.
Yeah, this is almost on
Less than a
the
4x, which is really interesting. Especially he's still like position seem I
yeah,
think we're pretty
same
similar, so
exact
similar
situation,
configuration,
pretty
he goes
much,
for
except he had Ace King last time.
interesting. I wonder
Maybe
You know.
he didn't get called the last time and he wanted to get called this time. So he said, well, he didn't call my
He's like,
four
"All right." Yeah, he's
whatever,
just,
I
he's just
bet.
working down from the top. But
He's like, all right, let's try 300. Will you call 300?
you know, for like I know Jaywin is very well constructed and always coming up with like new strategies when he plays. So it'd be interesting to hear his thoughts on what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you're up against the same opponent in a very similar situation. Now, obviously, your opponent's cards are probably different too. So it is, it's going to be a different situation. But I think him adjusting the way he plays it is appropriate. So I do think it'd be interesting to hear. Yep.
Queen 10 off is not really a super fun hand to play out of position in a 3-bet pot.
I know. I did it in a tournament when I was in Vegas, and I just, I won a big pot with it. Amounted to nothing. Tournament, so I
Yeah.
lost at the end of it, but it was level 2. But I opened it in relatively, I want to say it was under the gun +2, and got 3-bet from the small blind and decided to stick around. And flop came ace high, ace. I guess it must have been ace jack, whatever. Turn was a king. And that's how it goes. He had pocket kings, turned his set, paid me off. That's how it goes. This looks like very similar cards to the last hand. All right, bots.
Yeah. Okay. 6 checks. 7 checks.
Andy, you'd make a pine tree.
6 checks. 7 checks.
No, you'd be great. Emotionally unavailable yet supportive. That's your
6 checks. 7 checks.
All right. Who wants to take care of the bots for me? Someone. Volunteer. It can't be Gary C. Anyone but you. On is won that hand with 10 high, I guess. Checked all the way down to the river. Interesting. Okay.
Ending it for poker.
She would always my mom's super in denial. She'll always ask questions like, "Are you going to the office?"
Here we go. Austin has stepped out for a moment, so it's just me.
That's my office.
My other roommate makes comments like, "I'm so worried about you gambling in those places."
So far, nobody having anything of any real
6 calls.
substance. On gonna
7
call with Queen 3 suited. Anderson sticking around with 8-6 offsuit, and Slicer gonna check behind. We've got 2 aces and a jack on this board. Nobody's gonna think that their hand is any good.
Let's keep doing that.
Still not thinking their hand's any good, but Slicer gonna bet at it. He does, in fact, have a better hand.
6 calls, 7 folds.
On says, I don't know, Queen High seems pretty good here. He's not wrong. And there's a queen. Might get some chips in the middle here just to chop them up.
6 bets 55. 8 calls. Take back.
Got Derek in the box. Chopping up them chips like a true professional. All right. Anybody else playing any tournaments out in Vegas? Oh, Ragnar Overy, I'm going to make you temporary moderator for the stream, but I'm going to take it away later because I don't think I'm supposed to do it. But don't make me regret this. Yes, Aaron, who is normally our Monday stream host, is out in Vegas playing in some tournaments. I know he cashed in the housewarming tournament out in the WSOP. So congrats to him on that.
7 raised to 55.
And I know he's jumped right into another one, so I'm not sure how that is going, but
8 raised to 175.
he posts updates to his Instagram account. So if you don't follow him already, Words Are Hearts on Instagram, if you want to see what Aaron's doing out there. Lottie also has been playing a whole bunch of tournaments out there. Did cash in the Dealer's Choice event. And
Words
now-
are hearts.
Words are hearts. They are. Yeah, Lottie and Aaron are both playing the same deep stack tournament currently as we speak. So let's see if we can somehow get a Lottie versus Aaron clash at the final table. That would be fun,
Heads up,
right?
final table. That would
Yeah.
be pretty cool.
That would be fun.
Repping that Texas poker. That's something that I think is really cool about the Texas poker community. There's so much pride in Texas poker.
Yeah.
And people who play frequently in Texas are just proud that it's not boring. It's multi-way and it's fun. And like, if you come into TCH Austin on almost any night, but especially the weekends, like it's lively in here. People are talking, and it just has a much more fun, welcoming atmosphere than when you walk into the casinos.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, that's very
Yeah,
true.
it
There
can
are
be very
some
fun here.
casinos out in Vegas that I have found are have a fun kind of
For sure.
splashy action environment.
I'm 100% generalizing.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure,
But there's
just-
also a ton of places out there that you are going to just be up against. Super tight regs who are
Pros.
not
Pro,
top
right?
or
Like the pros with the
one or the other.
To 75.
So it's a mix of both. Some rooms are going to be better than others, but I have found a couple places that I do think are fun to play out there. So I mentioned Resorts World, which is where I stayed when I was out there. It's just a really nice casino and hotel, but on top of it, their poker room is a very friendly atmosphere. There's always a lot of players, laughing and having drinks and splashing around. So it's a good one. Shout out to them. They also are on Poker Atlas, so that's cool.
6 raised to 55.
That's unique for Vegas, right?
It is.
That's
There's
cool.
only,
Yeah, that is
I think,
cool.
3 rooms out there.
Yeah.
8, 7.
I've never really been there to like actually play cash or anything. So if I've been there, I've been
Yeah.
like to play a few tournaments, and then like if there's a seat at cash that's convenient, I'll go over sometime. But
Optimize just letting the pocket nines go here to the 3-bet from Anderson. I don't know how I feel about that. We know On is opening super wide. And we also know that everybody at the table knows that. So is going to try and take advantage of that, you know? So I think that you have to assume that Anderson's 3-betting range there is also a little wider when he's 3-betting over On. On is going to get out of line for sure and win. He
Yeah.
just gonna
Great.
win. Cool.
Oh.
Ace king. I was actually gonna check that.
And for Anderson, that's such a spot where you just sigh and go, "Ah, I have so many better hands. I guess I fold."
Yeah.
You don't even really think about it too much because like all of the hands in theory that On is check raising there just either have you crushed already or just have so much equity against your bottom pair gutter, right? Where
Right.
you're just like, all right, that's okay.
Yep,
Right?
I guess King Jack is just way good.
And then you just get 10-6 of hearts and you're like, all right.
Yeah, he's gonna find that out later and he's gonna be
You
like,
could be
well,
All right.
good, I guess,
hand,
good
Like,
bet
tap the
on.
table, right? And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Well played. Well played.
8 folds, 2 folds, 3 folds. My favorite movie.
Yeah, I think for pocket nines there, it's sort of just like it's one of those spots in poker that's just like brutally difficult, right? Because
It's also
Like, you
difficult because you have On left to act behind
Yeah.
you, but On
Ooh,
has
someone flopped this straight, I think.
no.
Nope.
But On has not
And an 8.
4-bet
7 bet 65.
or re-raised pre-flop much at all. So I think that you are almost safe to think of yourself as basically closing the action. Like if you think, have I seen On re-raise pre-flop? No. Then I guess this seems like a hand that I probably should call, and On's just going to call behind. If it's a different opponent, if it's Slicer in between, and you know he's definitely 4-betting,
Or like, yeah, is more
Or
prone
fold.
to
It's-
four,
he's
like
gonna
he's
be-
more prone to 4-betting there, right? Than On is, right? So yeah.
when I was playing cash out in Vegas, I had this guy sitting to my left who was the tightest player at the table. I think I saw him play 3 hands total. So there was a lot of spots where like he's in the big blind, I'm in the small blind, where a different opponent to my left, and I'm gonna be raising, but because I know he's folding 98% of hands, I'm just gonna call, and he's gonna fold, and I'm still gonna go heads up or 3 ways to the flop, and it's not gonna really change anything. He
Right.
basically isn't in the hand. And if he is, he's gonna be raising and probably jamming with aces, and then you just fold. It's fine. No big deal.
Big blind. 7 straddles.
Definitely getting into the
Somewhat related, but
like
whatever.
the exploit
When you get a
discussion,
gift of a
right?
gift,
Yeah.
Definitely,
like, that's like a
arguably like more important in these games here, right? They're so deep, so multi-way.
Absolutely.
All right. Slicer with 4s,
It's gonna.
garbage.
Yeah, we know what Anderson has, but he has yet to act in the straddle.
Like, don't get 5 ring calls.
I'm going to a wedding in Hawaii.
Ace-6 suited.
That's what they said.
I think I would prefer 3-better fold there.
Yeah.
I think it's a fold.
From the small blind especially.
I think fold most of the time and then a low frequency 3-bet, especially against like, I know it's short, but against the early position open.
And he has found himself priced
All
in.
right, call.
So let's
All
see.
right, something fun.
Yeah, there's a 4
Ooh,
and a straight draw and backdoor diamonds. So Optimize got a gutter, backdoor diamonds, and an overcard. Anderson has 2 overs. He's drawing dead,
Hates his life.
basically. And Slicer is sitting on bottom set. So we have a hand brewing here.
And so
Should be
I
fun.
think it's gonna just go call.
Almost false.
And then Anderson is going to be like, oh, never mind.
Your pay is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Optimize is going to do here. I would like to see him do something other than fold.
I don't think he's ever folding. I think he's debating whether to call or raise.
I know that, but I've seen him fold some things
I guess
that I
no, for
definitely
sure,
would
for sure.
call
You're
with.
thinking
So.
like it's funny. Sometimes you're sitting here thinking that someone's thinking about, oh wow. All right, so
Spades coming in though could just kill the
that
action
definitely
entirely.
right. I think for Slicer though, once it checks to him, I think he still has a pretty like clear cut spot where he can get value here, right? Like
8 bets, 825.
Anderson has very few combinations of flushes, right? But he has a lot of like the ace king with the king of spades, ace queen with the queen of spades, and then Optima is now just in like this world of pain. But I think, like, yeah, Slicer has a spot where like he can clearly get value, and it's a nice spot to also get a little bit of
Yeah.
protection for his hand, right?
Anderson is drawing dead, and Slicer now has this hand 100% on lock.
And I think Anderson has a clear check. I wonder what he does if Slicer goes in. Let's see. This is an interesting spot for Slicer.
I don't know how much Anderson can pay off here. There's so many hands that he loses to, but still quite a few hands that he's beating. So,
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
and
Yeah,
he's
the
gonna
snap
call.
and just
Yeah,
go-
Yeah,
that's a
he's-
really tough hand for Anderson.
yeah, and it's so tough because,
I might be wrong. I just don't. I think that size makes a lot of sense, like you said. From Slicer, that size makes a lot of sense because I don't know that he has that many bluffs there. So like it's not really a spot where he's gonna go super polar.
right.
Did he show up?
No, and I mean, I think that was, he probably could have gotten more out of Anderson. But, you know, those are the things that you find out as soon as your opponent snap calls you. You're like, damn it, I could have got way more chips out of him.
Yeah, and for Anderson, it's just like a spot where you're just like,
TCH for 20.
Right, and he's not folding to pretty much any size, but
especially not. Yeah, I think he bet 15 into like. I'm not sure how much it was, but yeah, not a huge size for sure. So 15 into 34, 35. So. Pretty fun hand there. Pretty big hand.
yeah, that
For
was
Slicer,
an
for sure.
interesting hand.
Really interesting hand.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, like, I think Anderson is. I think if I were Anderson, I would be frustrated that there was a caller in between pre-flop and on the flop, so both you and your opponent are priced in, and then neither of you can get away from it, and it's kind of because this pot was bloated because there was somebody in between, and you're like, damn it, Blake. If you could have gotten out of there, then I probably could have lost a lot less.
Okay. It's a spot where, yeah, I think Slicer plays that hand really, really nicely too. I think that's a spot where like a lot of people will like there's some nuance there where like it matters a lot that the turn is the ace of spades and not just like another different random spade. And
Oh
also,
yeah,
like,
because it's a 3-bet pot, so you're, you know, once that ace of spades comes out, the likelihood of your opponent having that flush without having the ace of spades in their hand is
right,
so much less.
There's so many, yeah, and it's so different from like if you are Slicer, then you flop like top set and then like a low random spade comes out, right, to complete the 3, just like
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's all, yeah. But
And you also know that you could be getting called by something like ace king with the king of spades,
Right,
or
right.
kings with the king of spades.
right, or just
Um,
ace king, like exactly. That way, right? There's just
exactly.
so much you can get value from that, which is nicely played. Hand. All right, on Caitlin. Both with
Where do you find
2 pair kings and
the
5s,
toughest of pairs, as Aaron would say.
Oh shit.
that
and
might count.
they're
Got her something.
going to chop this up.
Check.
Yeah, they both know that.
parks in Atlantic City too?
I hope that Caitlin didn't muck her hand. No, she didn't. Okay. I can't see it from here, so. I was like, I hope she knows that her kicker doesn't play.
You opened that trash under the gun, Mitch?
Job it up.
Ragnar Overby, I did not go to the Meow Wolf exhibit. I was planning on it, and then drank too much the night before and just decided to skip it. But we had some friends out there who were doing like a week-long birthday celebration too. So we went out quite a few nights with them and probably stayed up past my bedtime and definitely had the max number of drinks that I can consume without dying, pretty much. But I had a blast, so it was really cool.
6 calls, 7 folds.
Carlo, I've been to the Mom Museum. That's fun. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff to do in Vegas other than gamble, too. Like,
8 checks, 2 checks.
I went out there with my mom, who's not a gambler. We went out to Red Rock Canyon too, and did that whole drive and a bunch of hikes out there. We went and saw a waterfall, and like it was beautiful. So there's a ton of stuff to do out there. It's a great city.
The last time I went to Vegas, I went purely for a climbing trip because there's like
Yeah.
world-class climbing in Red Rocks, and like it's so weird to have like this absolutely beautiful like nature
On
and
taking
stuff.
that hand down with Jack 3 with Jack High. So well done, On.
Yeah. But yeah,
Caitlin was open-ended too. We should just let it go. I did not take my mom to either the M&M store or Ross, but I think she would be totally fine with both of those places if I did. I have not been to the M&M store, but I've had friends out there. Who have gone while we've been out there, and they said it's really cool. I don't know. I've never been there.
5 raised to 60. Can I answer that honestly? Just numbers. 6 calls, 7 folds.
All right, I'm gonna step out for a minute.
All right.
You know, like, they told
Good
me,
luck.
like, the older men would be kinder, but they lie.
All right. Just me for a couple minutes.
Except you, Kate.
Yeah, that's right, bitches. You Caitlin.
Let me know if you have any questions in the chat for me. Once again, I'm Austin, filling in for Aaron, the normal Monday night guy who is out in Vegas right now. So good luck to Aaron.
Let's go, Anderson.
That's right.
On here, flopping the nut flush draw, and nobody has anything. Nobody's going to want to continue here, so I'm just going to take down another pot. All right.
Playing the tournament.
4 straddles.
I saw that already.
How's it going, Dante? Nice to see Dante in the chat.
5 and 6 fold. 7 folds.
Hopefully all is well with you.
2 folds. Of course.
All right. So Ethan, take it down with his jack.
Exception for some green. 2. Might as well not give you a second one. 5 straddles for 20.
Moving right along.
Folds. 7 folds. 8 folds.
Global's been pretty active lately because I think Ignition is.
Oh, yeah, they went
is
down.
going
Oh,
through
yeah.
some fuckery right now, so they all came back over.
2 raised to 50.
Ethan gonna get a little frisky here with the open to 50 with 10-5 suited.
C4 bet down straight.
And Alkmaar is gonna go ahead and call, so we'll see if flop heads up.
Yeah, I heard the ignition's going down like 2 days now.
They're getting.
It's like the longest.
Jwin did fold 9-3 there, so he is playing pretty safe, don't I?
But like
I
people are
agree.
liking in and they're missing like half the roll, and then they're getting it back the next day.
And gonna go ahead and bet and take it down as Optimize just completely whiffs.
10 buy-in. I don't keep that much money.
I don't keep a lot of money either. It's so easy to get money on.
Yeah. Wow, what the? Six straddles.
Well, considering I don't win on Ignition, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have to say.
All right. Did I miss anything exciting?
Jwin folded 9-3 off,
Oh,
which feels,
what a nit.
yeah. Dante told him he was playing tight.
Yeah.
8 raises to 75.
All right, Slicer, pocket queens.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of big pairs. Let's see if anybody has anything they can continue with.
Jwin
That's,
with king queen
that's
suited.
a pretty
Wow.
hand.
Here we go. 3 bet incoming.
4 raises. 400.
Goes with a much more standard size here. So interesting to see like what his 3-bet strategy has been, because I think this is the
On.
third time we've seen.
Sitting on 9-5 offsuit, contemplating continuing.
And they're both sitting very deep here. I think for Slicer you can go either way.
Yeah.
Call seems totally fine. And we're off to flop.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. I think
What?
Slicer can get away from this probably,
So
which is good for him.
Slicer is gonna, yeah, gonna bet. Oh, he's not gonna bet. Wow. Oh, sorry. Jwin 3-bet. Slicer call. Okay, what am I talking about?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, Jwin checked. Sneaky.
4 bets 300.
A little less than, or a little more than a third.
I think the check from Jwin is almost more alarming to me if I'm Slicer.
Yeah.
It's like you just flopped the world. Like you, I think you
Definitely suspicious on that board, right? Because it's
Yeah.
a board that favors a 3-better for sure. It's like, are you gonna check jacks there? Like, I don't know. Maybe he does. But I imagine Jwin is betting a lot of. Jwin just going
Yeah.
for tiny value. This makes sense.
He's Slicer knows. I think he just knows he's beat, but also is just gonna be compelled to call here because it's so small. And I think he is
Yeah.
should just be grateful that he is kind of lost
Like-
the minimum here.
He just knows it's like such a huge, like, yeah. It would be so crazy for him to full getting this price, but he's just like,
Like obviously, if he thought
Yeah.
in any universe that queens were good, then he
just
would have already
never-
called.
Yeah.
But
you can tell he's just like, God, I hate this so much.
You wanna show one?
I'm good. I think I'm good.
no, he's gonna let it go. It's a good fold. It's
It's a great fold. It's a great
I think
fold.
maybe if Jay would have bet bigger, maybe he could have gotten a call. But I don't know. It's just such a terrible run out for queens. Queens without the queen of clubs. There's a 4-liner to a straight out there too, but Jaywood never has a 4 there. Well, I guess he could have ace-4. He definitely could have ace-4 of clubs, and then he's losing to a straight and a flush.
Pocket nines? I'll take what I have.
Have you pocket nines?
You beat pocket nines?
It's a really interesting check from Jalen on the flop.
And a flush.
Yeah, I think
I
if he
wonder-
bets it, maybe he can get more out of Slicer, because I think Slicer sniffed out.
Yeah.
Eight,
Oh, I guess.
I wonder, yeah, like I wonder,
I think queen five.
Like, does Jalen ever have any bluffs there with that line? Right? You bet 3-bet checks, and then that's 300 and then 400, right?
Yeah, I don't
It
think
just seems like
you just have it every time with
yeah,
that line.
yeah. So well done by Slicer. Sniffs it out.
All right, we have on with a pair of threes. He's probably feeling pretty good about that. Anderson has ace high and hates his life, and Ethan has top pair, and that's all. But it's very good. Yeah, on's definitely. He also was holding the queen of spades. 2 spades on board.
Boom. On probably feels like he has the nuts now.
Yeah, I mean he has 4 spades
Basically
and
has nuts and a
4th
pair.
pair,
Yeah.
3rd pair. So I mean he's probably calling any amount and gets there. Yep.
Just run. Bet right out. And Ethan is like,
He still has top pair,
yeah.
but is gonna
and
fold.
he's like, yeah. He's like, what do I beat?
270. It's like half pot. It's a very value-heavy size.
I think it was like full pot. I think that's 270.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, it was full pot.
Yeah,
So I
I
mean,
think
it
it's
could
more
be.
than- I think it's
just
more than.
kidding.
Yeah, he like.
Just kidding,
Yeah,
guys.
slight overbet, and Ethan is like,
They already added that in the pot. That's why. Duh.
yeah, gonna.
Yeah, I think Ethan might have called something smaller.
It's like, yeah, it would be really strange to have a bluff there, right? Because you think that like if you're gonna bluff with like a spade, you might start that on the turn, or
You would think so,
like
yeah.
I don't know. Just seems like you're never bluffing there when you.
I think it's an interesting bet in and of itself
Yeah.
because I think you're probably getting called by only bet. I mean, maybe, Jack or 10 of spades can call you.
Definitely is thin.
Yeah, I think maybe you just either bet really small or just check it there. Because I don't think you're really getting value.
Yeah.
Not for that size,
I
at
think you're
least.
right. I think that's probably right, but it's on, so
True story.
he's got Ethan thinking about it with hot bears. All right, bunch of diamonds.
7 calls and 8 calls.
All right, King Queen 3, no diamond.
Slicer's got the backdoor flush draw.
Anderson is ahead with his 4s.
4s are good currently.
3 bets 65.
Jalen has a gut shot.
4 folds, 7 folds, 8 folds.
The equity splits are when all 4 players were still in that hand, they were relatively even.
Everybody has live cards. And
Yeah.
really has that. Ethan opened there, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
Let's
he did.
assume. This hand coming up, hand number 62, we were warned, is going to have some sort of issue. So we're just going to
It's a mystery
pretend like
hand.
it probably,
2 straddles per
who knows? We don't know. It looks like maybe we got the hand started a little too early or something. I don't know. Anyways, if
So-
you're expecting to see cards, it's not going to happen.
This place all in social over there.
So we got a little mystery. hand.
Yeah,
This would be
we'll
fun.
try and see if we can
Suss
tell what
out
everybody has. It's tough in a game like this.
For sure. So Ethan coming in for the raise
Opening to 50 as he has been.
from +1. So
Definitely did
generally
make
this
that
would
up.
indicate a fairly strong range. Should be relatively tight as
Kind of like Hudson Bend area. So
first
it'd be
one's
the next
act.
closest to you besides ours.
Anderson gonna go ahead and call in the small blind, which you would think would be relatively like condensed range, right? So he's never gonna have anything super good, but he's also probably not gonna have anything super bad.
Well,
And
Yeah, Caitlin
completes-
continued from the big blind, which For her is gonna be probably not a huge range, just because we've seen her fold some hands that I probably would have continued with
Some guy named
as a
Slicer.
defend from the big blind or from the straddle.
That's weird.
But it's also such a small open that
Yeah, I think just
I
like
think you can almost defend
straddle
with
to
any two cards.
20
pretty
and then
much.
have to put in 30 more into
Yeah.
a pot. That's like, yeah.
That's 150, yeah.
Something, yeah.
We're gonna get a game going, and then you just walk.
And it looks like we're going heads up. 2 spades on this ace high flop.
Ethan bet's relatively small.
Yeah, you
which,
bet
like,
50 again.
this is a board where you could think about. So generally, that small bet is going to be like a range bet on that texture, but I think that's texture multiplayer where you can decide, be a little more selective about the hands that you're going to bet, and then use a slightly larger size because like your opponents are going to have a lot of inelastic hands there. Anyways, continues. So continues telling the story of I opened early. I have a lot of strong ace X hands. I have pocket tens.
Yeah, 160 here on the turn.
Anderson.
I think Anderson has an ace. I think Anderson.
So Anderson definitely has.
But Ethan could just have like Jack King and been, you know, range betting and got there too. Who knows? We're gonna find out. Maybe. I don't know if we're gonna find out.
So that's a card
I've
that.
never been to a room that's not on Atlas thing.
Yeah.
In Texas, at least. Although that's strange.
Some guy named. There's not another Slicer.
This is a pretty interesting spot.
Someone probably just said they were me or something.
We'll never know.
Like, you're
I mean, I guess
basically
maybe
saying, like-
Anderson could have been chasing a flush draw, but I don't think he's one to chase very often. So,
Oh, I see.
but he could have had like King 10 of spades or something.
Right.
I played there maybe.
For Ethan, that's a relatively polarized bet, even though he didn't use like a huge size, because you're basically saying like, I have something, like because if you have like ace jack there, right?
Yeah.
You're just happy to check and take your showdown.
Of
right?
course, yeah.
So like you're basically saying I have a really strong hand or I miss spades or something, right?
Right.
Because like, yeah, you
Yeah, I
just
don't think you're betting.
beat all the draws that Anderson has that bricked, right? And you're not going to get any value. And then like Anderson can have sets there, right? He can have almost all the sets. He can have probably can have king jack suited. Probably not. Maybe. But anyways, that was a pretty interesting.
He could have King Jack offsuit. I mean, it's a defend from the big blind. I mean, he has a lot of hands there. I think he also.
I think
Very much, everyone.
I think he has a lot of ace X. But I think he calls with those. So.
Yeah.
So, which is why Ethan's bet only makes sense if he has like a set or King Jack suited that got there or missed spades.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Or at least 2 pair.
Hey, when you get noticed at like a grocery store yet?
Oh, it's time to gamble.
Okay.
It's coming, right?
Double or
That's it.
bump pot.
Yeah, and in the random card rooms. No one knows going in.
Gamble it up.
Yeah.
You haven't seen your shit. It doesn't look here.
Might be really bad. You're like, oh yeah.
All right. Are you going first this time?
No, you won. You get to go first.
Okay. I don't know the rules.
All right. Let me know when you're.
I see your Instagram story, so I feel like I've seen like a lot of your vlogs.
There we go.
Yeah, that's pretty much the YouTube one is delayed. So if you can, where's the button? Push that.
Well, the lamp pop button's somewhere else.
All right.
33?
Not
Okay.
great. Definitely
I can beat
beatable.
that.
Definitely.
Yeah, see, when I was saying that, I was like,
Oh, 88. All right, got my money back. And I won. I got points, too.
The YouTube one is like, I have to really think through a lot. Okay, what is this? Like, what do I want to include?
I'm glad you wasted the high one.
The right length.
On that one?
Yeah, like if I had rolled like a 75, I'd be devastated right now. But it's just like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
It's like when you run it
Well, that
twice.
was, I mean, you rolled 63 last time and I got 10.
Right.
So, I mean,
Worked both.
the spread is pretty wide. Yeah.
We should next time we should do a cumulative, so we should keep track of how many. we rolled.
Add them all up at the end. Right now,
Yeah.
you're ahead, I think. You have 100, even.
It's,
And I
oh, you
have
98. Right?
98. That's
Super
very close, though. Yeah.
That would be fun. That'd be a fun bet.
All right. Here, what do we got going on in this
All right.
bomb pot?
Killing with
Queens.
just queens.
Jalen just kings.
Optimized kings.
Optimized just threes. Jalen does have a flush draw, but it's 6 high, so not feeling great. Slicer's got ace top. He's got top boat.
Slicer
Just
has
got
a
a lock on this. He's losing to quads and quads only right now.
Good hand, I would say.
Yeah, but it looks like he's got some collars. So.
On has a gutter and just.
Oh, actually, no. Somebody had the straight already. 10-7.
Oh yeah.
10-7 was the straight. Now it's the smaller straight, and it's
Plus
losing.
there's a flush draw. Or
On
flush-
has ace king, which he might feel like is good on the bottom too, but he also has the
Nut straight.
nut straight on top.
with
But
the king of
clubs gets there.
better. And Slicer's still like, you have a really good hand.
Yep.
Ooh. So like now, I feel like if you're Slicer here, like this is a nice spot to try and blow everybody
Yeah.
off of their
Absolutely.
equity here, right? It's just like I have this board completely locked up, and I'm almost definitely not good on the other board. So if I can get people to fold, that would be wonderful.
I mean, he's got Broadway. Oh, no. No, he doesn't. He just has aces on top. Gonna bet the pot. 10-25.
Right. And now on is like,
I mean, I don't hate the call from on when he makes
rivered
it.
the nut flush on the bottom too. I didn't even see that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, he definitely is calling.
Yeah, I think he's calling. Right? Because
He's got nut flush on the bottom, and he's got the straight on top. I think that's
With the
enough
king
on
of-
both boards. And there's
with the
no
king of-
hand that gets there on both boards that he's losing to, which I think is the biggest thing to, like, keep in mind. That, like, you know,
All I got.
yeah.
if he was losing to the same 2 cards on both boards, then
I got this wide
then it's an easy fold. Then you just get away from it, you know.
Having the king of clubs is actually huge for him too, right? He blocks like the.
Well, he blocks the nut flush draw, so he shouldn't feel. I mean, I guess there's a straight flush draw that
yeah.
7-9 of clubs that could be in there potting the river, but
So you lose like 7-9-9 with 7-9 of clubs, right?
Right.
And then you lose to like, yeah. There's not that many hands.
no, I think it's a good
Yeah.
call.
But it's definitely a spot where you're like, this sucks because I'm never scooping, right?
Right,
So you're
but
just
heads
like,
up, I think it's
eh.
a good call. I think
Yeah.
if you're going 3 ways
Yeah, if it
on
goes
that board,
slicer,
I think you
for
just
sure.
snap fold it.
Yeah, if Slicer
know?
bets and someone else calls, then you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Starting yourself a blind for up 300, 600. 300, 600 on those blinds.
All right. Onward and upward. Double board bomb buster. Super fun. And
All right.
on, no hands off.
Oh, I
With
thought
the
Caitlin was just
queen.
gonna fold there, and I was gonna cry a little inside.
3 bets and just gonna run right into Eden with Jack. So here's an
Yep.
interesting spot. Yeah, I think you have to.
It wasn't even a 3-bet; it was just an open.
Oh right, because
Yeah.
on
On just limp.
yeah. So on probably says that was fun. Caitlin says that was fun. And Eden.
Yeah, I mean, I think
All of that makes sense.
all of that did make sense.
Caitlin
Kaylin is very patient because at this point in this game, with the number of hands that she's played, if I were her, I would have probably just called there. I mean, if I break everything on the flop, then I just, you know, suck it up and get away from it. But at the same time, I probably am bored at this point. I just said,
Suited ace.
whatever. I had suited ace.
Yeah.
Flop comes 3, 4, 5, and you're like, bam, there we go. You definitely don't have any of that.
Yeah.
So
Oh, right.
Yeah,
On.
that's what I.
Back in there.
he's limping again. This
Back
is
in-
interesting.
Right back in there.
7 deuce game is not on, although that is the first time we've seen it.
Cameron's also going to come in for the here.
Yeah, typically the case is when someone else starts the limp train, you just jump on.
Right on. Let's see what.
Why not?
Jalen says
Jalen
5-3.
says
Yeah,
okay.
that's good enough. And Alchemized is like, all right.
Yeah,
I guess
5-3.
I'll
I'm definitely in there.
Yeah. All right. Multi-way action.
I found the first day, and I texted Tim about it. My
Jalen
husband.
flops the king high flush.
Oh, that's
a
very good.
hand.
Yeah.
And wow, Optimize is open-ended on top pair with the jack diamonds. This is a pretty action flop.
$30. This is why you play bullshit like King 6 suited, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just gonna flop the nuts.
And Jalen's like, I have.
Or second nuts, I guess.
Jalen's like, I
It's like, I have a
have
pair.
a bottom pair. And then he's like, there's 2 people act behind me.
Well, and the tightest player at the table is the one that leading out. So,
We'll have to fight another day.
and
Oh,
On's gonna
let's go for the
raise.
raise. Raises right into it. And Caitlin's like, this is fun.
Like, okay.
Smooth call. Like it. Like it a lot.
Yeah, well, On probably feels really good about his hand.
Ultimate, that's a very disciplined, good fold. Very good fold. And be interested to see how this plays out. So check raise, check line. Yeah, I think that's how it makes sense. Wow, is he gonna check raise, check raise?
I love that.
Wow, that is such a sick play.
Which is
So,
like, but at the same time,
It's like, are you really doing that with the Are you really doing that with the no flush, right? Like,
yeah, I think you
like
could
maybe
be
you could,
for
like,
sure.
It's just a
It's super sneaky, and I love it. But if he has it,
if anybody is capable.
but once Caitlyn called your check raise on the flop, and now it's calling again.
Right. So now
Like, there's no way, there's no universe that exists where your hand is good,
right, it's absolutely time
or
for
where
On.
she's folding.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely time for On to give up.
Yeah.
Caitlin gonna go and try a hefty little value bet, and On is going to.
Oh, this is, I think it's either
Wow,
jam or
check
fold.
raise, check raise, check raise would be so sick.
And I think in a different scenario, in a different universe, if Caitlyn is holding 7-6 of diamonds, she might contemplate getting away from it.
Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna.
I think he's gonna get away from it.
Wow. He thinks it looks like he's talking.
I also think he just doesn't believe she has a flush.
It's hard to flop a flush.
That's what everybody says, but I feel like it happens a lot.
I think it's about 1%.
Sure, but when the flop
No,
comes
yeah,
out
yeah.
3 diamonds and people are betting and
Yeah, yeah.
calling your check raises on the flop and turn, I think it's safe to assume she's got at least better than a 10,
Right.
you know? I guess if she had like 9-10 or ace king or whatever and didn't have a flush, she probably folds if you check raise jams river. But from my experience, when there's those monotone boards, yes, they can be difficult to navigate. Yeah, the likelihood of your opponent having that flush is on the smaller side. But at the same time, once the action's played out that way, You have to just assume they have it. Like, sure, on the flop, if you bet
No, but I don't think
and nobody has it,
check raising it. I'm pretty sure he is, so.
you can take it down because nobody has it. But once you get called and raised and you check raise and they still call, yeah, they got it. Just let it go.
I like the heart though. I like the check raise. It's a very.
7 and 8 fold.
Yeah,
It's a unique line.
What?
Not
well, and if
seen-
Caitlin has like a set there, she might just fold.
There's only one hand.
You know?
You're just gonna, definitely be put in the blender. All right, everybody has garbage. What's up, Caitlin?
Caitlin picking up cards now. Good for her. And on,
Flicks in the call from the straddle.
yeah,
They force it.
perfectly reasonable.
Pretty nothing flop.
Caitlin gonna check back.
Interesting.
Uh,
I think that's a spot where your hand benefits a lot from some protection.
yeah, I agree. Caitlin just being extra nice here, I guess, and just saying,
Also, definitely knowing your player type because you might get this, that, and you money that.
an
maybe
extra
you don't.
$25. But I think may have even called a flop bet because he's got backdoor diamonds and backdoor straight draw. So I think the bet on the flop is you're gonna get the same value.
A lot of $20 shot of lines, please. 5 and 10.
All right, moving right along. Ragnar Overby scaring off all the bots. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You live in Dripping?
I live southwest Austin. I live in it's called Avanya, Circle C. Avanya, West
So we were at 64
It's
fold.
I'm half in Hayes County, half in
Opens up the Ethan opens up the 8-9 off and on. Gets it.
As on does.
Travis County and
Eight, seven of clubs. I mean, On has 3 cards to a straight flush, so I don't think he's folding. Now he's got a pair, too.
But it doesn't.
Sort of similar spot to the last hand. 8-9 just benefits so much from
Yeah.
betting there. I'm surprised that he decided to check, but
And I mean, yes, that board favors your opponent, but you're the one who flopped best there.
yeah, not even
So-
so crazy.
Yeah, one way or another.
Anyhow,
I may as well
Alright.
just.
on.
Spice.
On loving.
You know, that's a pretty good hand to tell a convincing story that I'm gonna have a lot of sevens, right? So this is
Yeah,
probably
absolutely.
exactly how we would play 7, but Ethan's just gonna his hand's too good.
Yeah, he's never
He's
folding
gonna-
an 8 there.
Yep. I call, and On's gonna be like, oh.
I just have a 6. It was worth a shot, you know?
For sure. He might even be going for value there, get called by a curious ace high or something.
Yeah. All right. No, I'm good. Thank you. All right. Straddle has been on every hand. I don't know if they made it mandatory or not, but it's on, so that's good. All right. Optimize opening up his range. Gonna go ahead and raise to 60 with 8-4 suited. On checking his pocket fives.
Live bet, 100.
We're going to stick around.
6 calls.
10 of spades on the turn. Changes nothing. Yeah, Optimize gives up here. I think a bet on the turn he probably could have gotten on to fold his fives, but now On's going to feel pretty good about it, and he's going to bet it.
If you need a preschool messenger, I taught preschoolers how to play. I'm a novice myself.
It's you know, something that I think a lot of players
So they learn character.
do until they really get comfortable
Oh, we always leave with
at the stakes that they're playing, which is, you know, c-bet flop and then just check back turn when they get called.
oh my god, one time this little boy kicks me and like a 4-year-old kicks me.
And sometimes it's the right move and sometimes
Like no big deal. I was like, oh,
it's not.
I
But
was like, oh, ha ha ha, 4-year-old kicks me. But mom took it like dead
we're moving
serious.
right
She's
along.
like, please let my son apologize to you. And she's like, yeah, my 4-year-old going around kicking it. And so like I had to be like very serious while this 4-year-old like crying because he got in such big trouble. And I'm like, it really hurt. Yeah, it really did.
Slicer defending Queen 6 offsuit. Caitlin has King Jack offsuit and will raise as you do.
I was trying to play friendly on it.
And we'll take down pot.
And I'm gonna have to talk to someone later about it.
Let's look at some stats.
Justified.
Let's see who's won what. Let's see where we're at. Jaywin, Caitlin, Ethan, and On 2 all in the positive. Slicer, Optimize, and Anderson in the negative. So Jaywin sitting at the top. Caitlin
Although this last spelling bee
in second after that
was also a really good basketball
hand against On.
I was watching it in the sports bar and we were like hooping it up, like really.
Here's some
really throwing
V-pip.
it down
On
the street.
playing more than half of his hands, which is quite high. Slicer is playing a lot of hands also. He's got almost 40%. So Caitlin and Jaywin bringing up the rear. They are also sitting on the largest earnings. So if that says something about how to win,
The pod being a little bitch. Well, I've never
then
been treated
there,
as
it's
such.
probably right. But here's a hand that Jaywin is going to play. He will play kings.
That's a good hand.
Single raise pot.
Ooh. And unfortunately for Jalen, it's just sort of a spot as Ethan where it's just like, yeah, my opponent has so many things here and I just have so many better things here than this.
So
And that's sad for Jalen.
that's that. Where's Alice? Who's Alice? I don't know.
I love the furniture back then. Like, they came on to do all these.
All right, what else we got to show you guys? Pre-flop raise.
Try that.
Live $20
We'll get you
shot.
spit shine, baby. We're gonna get you out. I'm gonna look it
Who's
up.
the most aggressive pre-flop? Slicer. That story checks
Sense?
out.
Yeah.
Caitlin at the bottom of that. I mean, it's also relative to how many hands you're playing. So
I grew up a man bun once. I had a,
all of these numbers check out.
I looked horrible in 6 hole, 7 hole. And it took me like
Anderson folding the 10-7 suited from like the cutoff, which seems like a tight fold to me, but
So you raise 50,
again, I
4 raise 150.
like to put money in the pot.
Where's it? Gets snapped 3-bet by Jalen just so fast. And Eden's like, I was just kidding.
All right, Bragdon Overby, prove yourself.
I have to study you on TV tonight.
You have to study me on TV?
Yes.
Yay,
Oh my gosh,
good
the worst
job.
player at the table by a long margin, you'll learn.
Also, thank you for doing the top hours and top
Oh, you can
points.
study my curves?
Live
Oh,
$20
yeah. Those are much better worth studying.
I'll
No,
be
big
your
state class
muse.
for me.
Live $20 straddle.
I keep inviting everybody and their aunt to come take spin class with me. So if you want to come.
All right.
All right, I'm going to limp. Ace two suited. Excuse me. Jaywin going to also limp. We've got a limp pot here with some,
Very limpable hands.
yeah,
Joan flops best.
top pair, nothing kicker. Optimize also has a pair. On has backdoor things, I guess.
Yeah, backdoor flush. Yeah,
And
surprise.
somehow, I think in his mind, as the first limper, also has the betting lead. And I think that's a
well,
real
it checked
thing.
To, it checked to him too, right? Like they both checked over to him. But I also do think that's a thing.
It is a real thing that I think gets in people's heads when they limp into pots, is that like
Yeah, I was first in.
they
Yeah.
were the first person to
Yeah.
put the money in the
I'm
pot.
the aggressor. It's like, ah.
That doesn't really work that way.
You know, if you want to think that, that's totally
Yeah,
fine.
it's great actually. Continue thinking that.
Yeah. And on is going to be like, I have ace high.
Yeah, because there's really, I mean, unless On's the pre-flop aggressor, there's no reason for him to bet that board, right? He's
Yeah.
got
I
ace
mean,
high.
Yeah.
So, as far as I'm concerned, the initial limp is his pre-flop aggression, and it makes him
Yeah.
the.
I think it is like, yeah.
That's not really true.
Yeah,
but
yeah. You could, I mean, he does, like, there's cards he can barrel, right? Because, like, the other people also limped. So, like, if his plan is, like, I'm going to barrel on a bunch of turn cards, then it seems
Sure.
fine. But if you're just going to, yeah, I mean, a jack is just, like, going to shut it down anyways. But, yeah, no, I definitely agree with what you're saying. Like, it seems like sometimes, like, yeah, if you're the first one to, like, limp in, then you just feel like you have to.
Right, you have to c-bet even
Yeah.
though you didn't raise. It's just like
Yeah.
a weird dynamic that plays out in limped pots.
8 raise 75
All right. Got a bunch of, much more real holdings here, it looks like.
Yeah.
Ian's going to open up King X. So folded to him on the button, you can assume that's just like almost a bunch of suited kings.
Now this is interesting because we saw on just flat call with ace queen from similar position,
Right.
and now he's got ace jack. I mean, it's suited. I think maybe that's the
It's suited. Yeah.
that's the difference,
That's the thing.
despite the ace queen being a substantially better hand.
Yeah, but it's suited.
I know. There are some players here, and they're so funny, who literally will just say, well, my cards are suited, so I can't fold. And
That's me.
I love that philosophy for them.
I didn't love it. I didn't love it, but I did know I was getting such a good deal that it didn't seem like.
What's your least favorite hand?
My jack 10 offsuit.
Okay. But like in terms of like actually really bad hands, right? Because like I get 7 deuce and I'm like, okay, this will be fun. Try and
Right.
put my,
No,
what's a hand
any
that you-
hands that are actually bad, I love.
Oh really?
Yeah, usually. Like maybe 9 deuce or something.
Yeah, there's hands that I look down at and I just don't even like consider looping ever. Like think like jack deuce, jack 3.
No, I will play jack 3 suited.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's one of the hands for me. I'm just like, yeah.
I mean, it's so dependent on position and, the dynamics of the game and things like that.
I think jack 3 off.
Jack
for
3
me-
off is
Okay, jack
different.
deuce off for me is a fold in anything.
9 deuce off for me is 100% a fold at all
Nine
times.
deuce is great.
Like I would fold my big blind if it didn't get raised. Like I'd still be like, yeah, but I think I'm probably just getting in trouble with this hand, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go away.
So what he wants to do is
But anything that's like,
coach for profit. But it
you know,
sounds like
7-4, 8-5, 6-4. I love 6-4, 6-3. Those hands.
So
I just think anything that are connected, suited or unsuited. Obviously, suited is better, but unsuited is
I'm gonna assume I won't.
not
I'm gonna assume
like
my
a,
answer.
a deal breaker.
on just going with a super strange line. Min clicks and then bets huge on the turn. Just takes it down with
King high.
4.
He had the best hand. Oh
He
no,
didn't.
King 4. No, King Jack was.
Yeah. So on just.
But that, I mean, I think we all know that is definitely on's range. Deuce, deuce, 6,
Oh, yeah.
8. So I mean, it made sense.
And
But
it's
yeah,
a
no,
spot where,
a lot of those like small wheel cards, 5 deuce, 5-3. Those I love playing those hands.
Yeah.
But selectively, obviously, I'm not playing. There's no hand out there that I'm gonna play and just like I'm just gonna pretend this is aces.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
no, that's there's not a hand that exists that I'm gonna play that way.
No cold calling 4 bets with 5-3.
No, but am I going to open with it
Yeah, mix it
from
up, yeah.
late position?
course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Am I gonna defend a straddle with it? 100%.
I don't think I have a full, like,
Range on a straddle.
yeah. If
Defend.
I'm the straddler and
And it's a
position
single
opens,
raise pot, and
like,
it's not a huge raise.
unless
Yeah,
it's
I'm in
literally
there.
jack deuce off. Like, I'm just like, all right, whatever. I could flop them.
I took down a big pot in a tournament with 5. I want to say it was 5 deuce or 5-3. No, 5-3 offsuit. Defend from the big blind. You know, big blind and ante are already out there. It's essentially a min click.
Yeah, you get a. Yeah.
And you're
You get
supposed to defend with
way
almost anything.
wider,
And it's
yeah.
you know, it's heads up.
Right.
And the flop came like queen. I think it was like queen 6-3. So I flopped a gutter. And I decided to just check raise the flop with that, and then just pinked a 4 on the turn.
That's so great because it's like you just like as the other person,
Yeah.
you're just like, how does the 4 ever interact?
Exactly.
Like, it's like
Exactly, and that's why it's like
there's
it was
no
you-
hand,
like
right. There's no yeah. And you're
if
like,
I just, I mean, there's really no other way that I can stay in that hand. Logically, like if I call there, and I brick the turn, then then I have to check to the aggressor again,
Yeah.
and he's gonna put me on the spot.
I think yeah.
So if I turn it into, if I check raise flop, then it's like, all right, well now, if I get there or I brick turn, I can still check it,
Yeah.
and he's probably checking back.
Yeah.
But I can get another straight of value on the river, which is exactly what happened. Or I can turn my hand into a bluff, one way or the other.
Yeah. Like I think those are the spots like as a like you're saying, like as more recreational players, right?
Yeah.
You just get to have those spots and then they're just so fun, right? Because like you
And then you show that down, and they're like, what?
yeah, you know the other person is like, what is going on? Right?
Right.
This makes no sense. Like
This
they're
line
sitting there
is-
with like ace queen and they're like, this how am I
Oh yeah,
ever
river
lo-"
was a queen, and he
Yeah.
snap called me.
Yeah, and you're like, how am I? And like you get snap called there by so many hands. Right?
Yes,
and you're just,
absolutely.
It's like, how am I ever losing, right? And then you just roll over like the absolute nonsense, and they're like, what?
Yeah, the look on his face was just
Yeah, just
like,
pain.
yeah, he was like, what? How do you like? He's like, I thought if I was losing this hand, I was losing to a boat. Like
Yeah,
I thought you just
yeah.
had
like a set or something.
pocket threes or something,
Yeah,
or whatever. No, threes was another, but whatever.
yeah.
Like that was the only thing that would make sense in his mind. And when he sees the straight, he's like, what?
All right.
Ethan in the straddle. We haven't gotten to him yet, but Jaywin is gonna open up the King Jack offsuit, and it folds all the way back around to Ethan.
And I imagine this is 3-bet incoming.
I imagine.
4x ish. 4x.
Out of position. Seems like the right thing to do. It's like 240-ish. Yeah. 4x exactly.
Jwin has a very cuspy hand
I
here.
think that's a reasonable number.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, against a 3-bet from, like, a... Because Jwin opened early, he's getting 3-bet, and it's just, like, King Jack has, like, very bad reverse implied odds there, right? It's like, Ethan's going to have a lot of better kings,
Right.
So it's like, if you flop top pair, it's like, then you just put yourself into a world of pain
Right.
a lot of the time.
And I mean, if you decide that the price is right, or you know that you have some sort of reason to continue there,
Right.
you have to also be aware that like top pair jack kicker is never going to be good there, or if it is, it's going to be you better tread lightly.
Yeah,
you know?
the thing is, like, yeah, you're just never going to win a huge pot with top pair jack kicker there, but you might lose a huge one, right?
Yeah,
Because,
absolutely.
like, if Ethan has, like,
Like
queens
the
or...
only way you're feeling good about that hand is if you just flop Broadway or something. You
Yeah,
know?
right.
That's it.
So it seems totally, yeah.
Or the flop comes jack, jack, deuce.
Right.
You know?
It's like another situational hand where, like, you just feel like there's, like, if you're late position and you open and get called by Australia, you're, like, feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah.
But, like, defending a 3-bet, right, when you open early is just, like, not super fun.
Yep. Not fun.
Go.
And I mentioned earlier that I won a big pot with Queen 10 offsuit. Similar situation. Open early, get 3-bet by the small blind. And I decided to continue because it was super early in the tournament and the blinds were so low, and it was just the right price to call.
Yeah. There's so much situational stuff that goes on.
And I also got to see the flop and turn without a bet, and I turned Broadway. But if I don't turn Broadway there, like if I just have a queen, and queen's top pair, like I don't ever feel good about that.
Right.
Like if somebody bets into me there, I'm like, nah, you have kings, like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let it go.
Yeah.
Or you have ace queen at worst.
Right. Not super fun. All right. On with the 9-5 of hearts, as one does, versus the
Queen 9 of clubs.
Of clubs. And
No.
Anderson's gonna go ahead and bet.
Yeah, Anderson has.
We're about to break an
I think even for on, this is a pretty ambitious.
Yeah, I think On knows that he can't try and win that pot
Yeah.
with that hand
Anderson
against that
takes one
player.
down.
So I was told there wasn't a lot of competition up there.
Gary C. still going on about the wrench. I'm not giving you one today.
The what?
He wants. I made someone a temporary mod so that I didn't have to watch for these bots.
Okay. Yeah,
And
smart.
he's like, no, give me the wrench.
Yeah, no, it's like
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, well, that's huge, but that's a long way from where he's talking.
yeah,
I mean, that'd be like
up
40 minutes.
northeast, northwest. Right?
All right, we are approaching the 9 p.m. hour. We've got about an hour left.
Power hour.
Yep. This would be what we refer to as power hour. So let's see if anybody decides to spice it up
Yeah, let's see
any
if
more
they
than
find
they already have.
Double straddles or
40. You ever made the drive?
It's what it is. I mean, it's a real thing in like tournaments when you get to the like right before the break. You know, the type player at the table is like, "Oh no, I got to double up now." Like, got to double up or rebuy.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, they start playing every hand under the sun.
So what you gotta do,
Same general idea. Like, you're gonna run out of time on this stream. You better.
like I have to go south down 6.
You know, you come to the stream, you want to make a, you want to get in there, mix it up,
You gotta go down there.
get into one of the highlight videos, et cetera, right? So,
Road, which is this winding road that goes all the way past 360, up 360 for a little bit, and then you get there.
that
And
might
it's
work.
like, it's just not
All right, power hour in America requires fossil fuels.
25 with no traffic.
No, we're solar
I
powered.
mean, my point was, it's not really the area. It's talking
Only one way to verify that. Come on down.
Yeah.
Come play in one of our tournaments. A lot of fun stuff going on.
Oh yeah, tournament today. Is that happening? Having a tournament today? $60 PLO tournament. Oh, yeah. There you go.
X, maybe 3.
2K guarantee. Every Monday. Wednesdays, we have our no limit Holdem free roll. Also, 2K guarantee? Or 1K? I
I'll
don't know.
bet 200.
Something close to that. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then Fridays, we have another tournament. Those are just the ones in Austin. There's a lot of tournaments happening at all the TCH locations around the state. So,
Mm.
all right. Slicer sitting on ace high. Ethan Rivers a pair of sixes.
So, yeah,
Gonna get
Slicer, I
checked to him.
think, just decides that he has just enough showdown value with his ace high. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good
and
check
he
back.
gives up, and then Ethan is just going to probably check back and win.
Yeah. Yep. And the look on his face said,
Yeah, he's like, okay.
I think Slicer just announced ace high, and he was like, yeah, I have a pair.
Yeah. So, like, for Ethan, I think if he doesn't river a pair there, it's pretty, like, mandatory bluff, but, like, the six is plenty of showdown there, especially when Slicer checks, right?
Yeah, why are you going to put yourself in a spot where you could get check
Yeah.
raised on the river?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know anything about that market.
Not that I think Slicer's ever.
Yeah, Slicer has, like, almost 0 check raises, probably, but
Yeah, is there one in?
again,
There's one
you know,
in Lake
it would be
Trout.
pain with a six, right? But if you get check
Right.
raised with six high, you're like, okay, buy six high.
Right.
You know, like, that's okay, right?
The only nationwide children's gymnastics brand that I know of is called Gymboree.
$80 7 folds.
Oh, right. So hopefully y'all can hear the table audio. 'Cause
Raise.
We have not
it
heard
seems
it
like
all
there's
night.
some lively conversation going on out there, but we unfortunately do not have it. So if we're missing anything that you feel like we should have commented on, feel free to.
Whoa.
That is a lot.
Yeah, 850.
And
And
Slicer
Slicer.
just is like, okay.
I love that hand though. 7-6 suited.
He's like, okay. In position, fine.
Yeah, against on. Yeah, let's go. Flops a gutter. It gets checked to him. And just able to. Now he's got the double gutter. No, now he's open-ended. Sorry, open-ended. 5 or 10 gives him a straight. He also has 2 live cards. I'm just sitting on ace high.
Yeah. And I don't know. This is a spot where, like, yeah, if you're Slicer, you're like, what in the world is On trying to say that he has right now?
Right. When you check flop
Yeah, and
there,
then you
like
just
unless
decide
you
to
had
bet.
nines, like that's
Yeah.
the only thing that it would make sense to check flop that turn.
Yeah.
That Slicer is really that far behind.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. So now, does Slicer turn his end into a bluff? Really
I mean,
interesting spot.
I think
I think
he
he has
should.
to. Yeah, I kind of think he has to, right? This is like, I can't imagine he's going to get to this river with much worse ever, right? And so, like, when you get to the river here with this hand, like, you unblock your opponent's flush draws, so I think you just have
Yeah,
to go
it just
huge.
rips
Yeah,
it.
that's so good.
Yep.
So good.
And the question is, can
It's just a really, really good play. Like,
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
No, I
and
think
now-
100% he should be.
right. And, like, it's pretty wild because, like, if On really thinks about it, right? Like, the only hand that Slicer is, like, really saying that he has right now is probably Jack 10 or a set, right? And it's like, how many sets does he have, right? It's like,
Sure, I mean, but Jack 10 is 100% a possibility.
right, 100%.
here.
But, like, does Jack 10, so, like, how many Jack 10s does Slicer call the 4-bet with, right? It's probably only Jack 10 suited, right? And then, like,
Probably.
how many Jack 10 suited does he continue on the turn with? It's just Jack 10 of clubs and spades. And then, like, is he raising that on the turn? right? And then if he doesn't have a Jack 10, like, does he have other things for value here, right? It's like he's never taking one pair for value here, probably, right? It's just.
I mean, I guess
atrocious.
he could just have like ace. I mean, he's never betting that big with like ace queen of
Right, that's what I'm
spades or
saying, right?
something.
He's
Like,
just
there's
this is
no
so polar.
hand that he's betting that huge with.
Right. So it's like set of nines makes sense, right?
It's been a while, but.
Nick, you're coming too late.
And then like set of
He is put on is in the blender
Yeah.
right now, and he wants to call, and he knows he's good. Oh, it's just such a tough spot.
yeah. It's such a spot where like it's just like
But On lost that hand for himself. Like, I think On could have. On gave Slicer the information that he needed in order to make that bluff and have it get through.
yeah.
By checking flop, betting turn, checking river.
Yeah, it just shows you like how hard it is to play against like really good players who are gonna run bluffs on you like that, right? Like,
Really good players who are, really comfortable putting
Aggressive,
all their
putting the
chips
money
in the middle.
and they're
Yeah.
gonna play, and when they're in position and you're out of position, you're gonna make your life so difficult
Yeah.
there, right? Because like that's a spot where like, yeah, he's not really saying that he has that many hands, but like, it's really really hard to put in that call with ace king high, there, right? It's just like,
And it doesn't matter how much you think. You're like, there's
Man, he had a spade too, right? And a
what on earth could he possibly have that I'm losing to? And you're not wrong. Like
Right.
there are a handful of hands.
right.
Um,
Like we said, he definitely has some Jack 10. He definitely has pocket nines.
I don't have the best image either.
He
But does-
probably-
Over 50, I'm drinking.
I mean,
He-
pocket nines could check back flop,
He's king on it, the wheel on
yeah,
it.
and then
and then
on
obviously
bet
his
call.
calling turn.
Yeah, and then jam river for sure.
I mean, I
We got a new player.
Yeah. I think Jack 10 is probably the more likely hand that you have to be afraid of, but
like twice every 6
Yeah.
months, and it's always like,
Well, that'll make you not want to do it.
I know.
And then yeah, he also has
Gary C. saying he wonders if on folds if Slicer bets just like 1,200. I don't know because the 1,200 bet feels
the thing is like
so much more legitimate, you know?
Slicer is never betting 1,200 on that river. It's such a polar spot for him to bet. Like he's just always ribbing it there. I think. Like
Yeah,
he's
for
just
sure.
because like we talked about, right? Like it's not a spot where you're ever gonna bet like
No, he's
pocket
checking
tens.
back anything
like-
with showdown value.
yeah, you're just never betting pocket tens there. You're never betting ace queen there. Like
You're betting the nuts or nothing. Like a set or better.
biggest spot
or
where like
air.
with one pair you're never getting called by worse and you're never folding out better. Right? So you just always are taking your shot. I think. I mean like
I think
don't know.
more often than not in that spot. I mean, that particular run out,
I tell you, I was thinking about.
I think it's like 50. It's like a toss up whether that's a bluff or value or the nuts, you know.
I might have drank.
And
That's
I
why,
think
like,
you really
it's-
have to judge based on who your opponent is more than anything.
Right.
Um,
That's why it's so good from Slicer because like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't really have bluffs there, and like that's like one of his best bluff ends there for sure, and he just recognizes it and then just does it. It's very cool. All right,
I
back to
mean-
the action. We got another fun hand brewing, and Slicer's just gonna turn the best of it. Had the best of it already. But
yeah.
got a 3-bet and a call from Ethan, and gonna bet relatively small. I think that makes a lot of sense. And for Ethan, this is just not that great of a board. Especially when you have 8, 9 of diamonds.
Yeah.
Slicer on a bit of a roll.
Yeah. Let's check those stats again. Let's see what we got now.
Yeah, they just made it.
Now, Slicer was in the losing column not long ago, but this is one of those benefits of playing more hands is that you can, make those big swings. Because look at that, 40% of hands, which is quite a few, yeah. And now he is in the win column.
Caitlin, you want the 20?
Caitlin, do you want to be in the?
Do we have a new player?
Yeah, and it looks like we've got neighbors.
Neighbors.
Yeah. Nick Neighbors joining the stream.
I would love to. Okay, on that
Gonna
one.
open phase, jack off. And get snapped 3-bet by Jalen.
Yep.
Which
Ethan
is
is like, man, I really just can't
Yeah.
open a hand and not get 3-bet.
Ethan's like, man, this guy is super annoying. Who is this guy? Why does he keep 3-betting me?
Uh, Neighbors has Queen Jack of clubs facing a 3-bet. With numerous players left to act behind,
Not
it
that
seems
fun.
like a snap fold. Because it's either 4-bet or fold, I think.
Ethan is like, all right,
Yeah, once it gets to heads up, he can just
you can't
call.
have it always. But
Not a great flop for his hand, unfortunately.
I definitely think that's playing into Ethan's mind right now, though, that he's gotten 3-bet so much by Jalen tonight, because I think generally ace jack off is probably just a fold when you, because he opened +1 and then just immediately got 3-bet, so it's early versus early, so
Yeah.
his jack is doing pretty bad, but I think Jalen has just, been 3-betting him so much that he decided, I'm sick of you. That's definitely a thing that comes into play.
Yeah, ace
And,
jack off is probably not a call there. But
It's kind of like king jack off, right? You're like, you go up an ace, like you're like, My opponent has all the ace king, ace queen.
right, you'd never want to see an ace if you have
Yeah.
ace jack or king jack, or you don't want to see a king if you have king jack.
Right.
You
just
you
wanna
wanted a
flop
jack
Broadway.
high board
You just
with
wanna
ace
flop
jack,
Broadway.
and still you're gonna feel really bad about it. You want 2 jacks or Broadway. That's it.
That's all you're asking for. It's super reasonable, I feel
Yeah.
like. All right.
All
Neighbors.
right, neighbors mixing it up already.
Flop stop pair.
Got a little focus issue here, but we got to straighten out. On has
Nothing.
3 cards to a straight and 3 cards to a flush, so he might continue. We'll see what happens. Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's not like this. It's not like this.
All right, he's gonna see what develops here.
I like the.
And turn open ended. Oh, plus the
Yeah,
just picks up
ton
all
of
of the
outs.
outs.
Yeah.
And I think,
According to the graphics, it is now essentially a flip.
yeah, and I think this is definitely a card that is gonna barrel.
Amy. You got with, oh, no. You're with your African American. Bones is not. I was gonna ask
Yeah,
if Bones
This is just not that fun.
No, it's not a fun spot to be in.
Oh.
I mean, not with him, with my other friend.
I think if I'm neighbors, there's a chance I just get away from it there.
All right. So neighbors arise at the river with the best hand if he can not fold, which
Yeah.
we'll see.
Oh,
Does
so
he-
On's just gonna check it back, I think. The look on his face said yeah.
he just gives up.
Yeah. Because I think if On bets there, he can get it through.
Nice hand for neighbors. Welcome to
Yeah.
the table.
First hand.
I went out with Bones and Boots one time and it was a fucking riot.
I'm a little surprised on it. I guess the ace is really bad card for him,
I mean, it was just like nonstop.
so I guess it makes sense. But
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
We were watching baseball. There were 20 TVs on.
Unless he's
Knowing-
trying to rep a flush, and then
yeah, knowing on,
and then the ace is the card that you think, like if he actually has a flush, ace should get you paid there, so he should be betting it. But I think he just was afraid.
They had a good year. I mean, Luca's on the.
$20 travel.
He's gonna get to it one of these years, eventually.
He looks like he's running in slow
He's a little guy.
All right.
You know, training.
I'm going to continue with the limp mode.
It's that American food, right?
Really enjoying it.
It's like
Where's he from? Eastern Europe?
Neighbors waking up with the Gordon nuts. Gonna open from the button to 75. So you get folds out of everybody except for maybe on. See what happens. Spades would be very spicy here. No. Neighbors can see bet this flop and take it. Oh, he's gonna check it back. Oh, it's spades on the turn.
bet 100.
Bets 100. And on now picking up the flush draw. And both of them get there. On with the much lower flush.
Bet 280.
280 is his bet.
Yeah.
Smirk on neighbor's face is screaming,
No, I think it's.
uh,
Yeah.
I hope you don't have the ace high flush.
Yeah.
But I also don't really think that you do. I think he's thinking about sizing for a raise here.
They got somebody to.
Or whether to just call. It is a paired board. On could just have a boat here and have been trapping, but all right. Neighbor's gonna make it. Looks like 1,300. No, 1,400. Flush over flush.
Wow, this is a pretty gross spot, huh?
Yeah. I mean, in reality, like, what does on beat that neighbors is
Yeah.
raising river with?
Looks like since it went check on
Yeah, check
flop,
flop,
like,
which was a little bit of a surprise for me. But I think neighbor's gonna get max value out of this.
ooh, it looks like he's gonna fold.
Yeah.
Be a really good fold. It's hard to fold a flush. I mean, like you said, it's just like, what do you beat?
5K.
Right. What do you beat that he's? I mean,
Also,
just
like-
a bluff. You're turning your flush into a bluff catcher at this point.
Yeah, this is a huge size. Don't think he's acted.
He hasn't. No, this is just him.
He's thinking.
He's showing neighbors his hand.
Yeah, I'm not asking.
The thing is, it's just so hard to come up with bluffs. Like, you have to really put your opponent on being, like, super capable of.
Yeah, missed clubs is really the only bluff that makes
I
sense.
guess I'm going home. I call it.
Oh, it looks like neighbors showed him the 5 of clubs and then, or the 5 of spades.
A little confusion about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
think it
showed him
wasn't sure
one.
if it was a call or an all-in or whatever, but yeah.
It was, yeah,
Looks
it
like
wasn't all.
effective, yeah. It's a tough hand for on.
Yeah, I just think when you get raised there on the river, you're losing to all the boats. You know, it was a single open from neighbors on the button. He could have 6s. He could also have aces and checked flop with just,
Yeah.
you know, flopped a boat.
Yeah, the problem is that, like, most of your club draws, they're pretty inclined to bet that.
Yeah,
right?
for
'Cause
sure.
I think it was.
And he didn't.
It looked like was it a 3-bet or?
No, it was just an open on limp.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, not loving the limp set on.
So how did you?
4-3 suited
Yeah, I get that part.
is
Behind your boat.
a perfectly reasonable hand to open with, depending on your position. But when you play it as a limp and then you call an open,
Makes your life hard.
yeah, and I don't know that Neighbors even sticks around with King 5 suited
Yeah.
if he's not playing it as an open. He might just fold it.
Yeah, and I think you also just avoid like that spot because like if you open 3-4 and then
And then
Get
and then
three
he
bet.
has aces on the button and is gonna flop a boat, you're gonna know beforehand because he's not.
yeah, you can just fold
Yeah.
3-bets, right? And be
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever, I have 4 high.
Right? Streamlabs
Alright.
going nuts, it looks like.
How long you standing up there for?
So that was spicy. We got a dealer change bomb pot coming up.
Definitely a fun hand.
Yeah. That's what we're here for.
Really
Coolers.
hard to fold, like 2-card flush though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard. But
I mean,
like,
it's definitely hard. It's just. Oh, it looks like we have another new player. This is another newbie.
oh yeah,
Look at that. We got 9
we have
players.
somebody. Not sure who it is yet. Figure it out.
This one?
Or either.
Hurt, you know, broke my ankle. Do I have to scan something? Never played this before.
All right,
Nice hair, dude. Thank you. I like that shit. Do they ever get, do you ever like?
got Josh in the box.
It's Pete.
Cards. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Do they really
Welcoming Pete to the table, one of our
Oh,
favorites.
right. That's great.
He has the same problem.
It's almost unfortunate that we're already into Power Hour
Yeah.
because we should get the action.
Pete is one of my favorite people.
Oh, he's just the best. He's
would-
like, if Pete is playing at a table, I will stand in line and wait to play at that table because it's just so much fun.
Literally no filter.
Showing 4 cards for everybody.
Funny guy, good sense of humor.
And an action player, and
Everything you could possibly want.
yeah, great for the game.
All right, Ethan has King 6.
We must have maybe not. Oh, I don't know exactly. Oh, we got 2 cards of everyone's hand? Is that what we're doing? What happened?
All right.
Well,
Well-
On is betting what appears to be a pair of 7s on one board, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that wasn't it.
He takes it
but
down.
He takes it down, so it doesn't matter.
That's a nice little rebound from that tough one.
They did that steakhouse. Didn't they do that steak?
Roadhouse, yeah.
Spend all their money on this shit that doesn't work. They could have given us food.
No, we used to have food like 3 times a week. When I was like most of the year.
And it was just.
Yeah, Ragnar will be asking is the Holdem bomb pot? No, it was clear. They clearly all had 4 cards, and it looked like the
Yeah, just-
stream wanted to read 4 cards, but just didn't. So I don't know what happened. We'll get that straightened out, but
Yeah, right.
Onwards and upwards.
Success.
Back to the Holdem. And number 89.
yeah, we got pretty good average for hands per hour on a stream table.
Like Hawaiian, right? This is mine.
5,
See
10,
all the
20
action.
all night. It's been a good game.
Yeah. See if we can get some information. Looks like we got Pete coming in for 2K.
On just lost that big one.
Yeah, Anderson's still though sitting on the bottom of the earnings list. We're gonna pull that up next.
Yeah, Anderson has just had a tough night.
Yeah.
Just running into a lot of not so fun spots. He ran,
Slicer's sitting on a bazillion big blinds and yet only up $860 according to this,
yeah.
which makes sense.
So he folded, and then I folded because I was pretty sure I saw his card.
They win, king high, optimize, ace high,
The hand I go,
Pete,
Flyers
pocket
red,
fives,
flyers
a red
straight.
card.
neighbors,
And
three
Pierre
deuce
goes, "No, I
suited.
And I go,
Pocket
yeah,
fives are
you
good
folded."
at the moment.
Or you're gonna just take
And
it
then
down.
the guy to my right
Yeah.
said, I
Ace
saw
10
it.
is you could.
So Doug starts betting.
He bets 100
Yeah.
into 200. I think.
Yeah, you're just like.
Pierre lays him like 4-1.
I think
Pierre's positive
someone
on
else I might call
Then
with
the dealer
the
says, "I
ace
saw
10
it
of
too,
clubs
red."
with the backdoor
Now
flush
Doug's
draw and two
laying
overs.
And Pierre and Eric are betting.
Yeah, I think on like a deuce 6-8 board, you're a lot more inclined to fold, but
We are all wrong. Doug lost like $1,200.
I don't know. I think the pair board almost makes it
The odds just totally shifted.
It was like election night
more
when everyone
tempting
thought we were gonna win.
to float because would anyone be betting trips there on the flop?
Well, Pierre was like, unless Pierre was hustling, Pierre was like, gosh, I really don't know.
think,
But like, how do you not know the
like-
color?
whether or not they are, right? You just like put yourself in a spot where if you run a runner a
I
flush,
might forget the suit.
Is it
and
gonna
they
be good?
happen
Like,
to be
do you
doing
think-
that, then you just like reverse apply, right? Like
Oh, and I
if
don't
you
think
fucking-
it's necessary. I mean, I think
You're like, oh,
the backdoor
Maybe I'm
maybe something
And then they
that's
said
just
apparently
the two
this
overs.
is
Yeah,
A
yeah.
little more
Oh, yeah.
of it.
You can definitely do it.
Yeah.
kind of makes sense.
It's definitely player dependent too, right? Because there's some people who aren't going to bet fives there, right? And so, like against Pete for sure. it
Honestly,
seems
if I'm
like-
Pete there, I'm probably check raising five more often than I
Yeah.
am bet like
Sure,
leading out.
right. So you can just, yeah.
I'm gonna try and get optimized to bet
More
his
wisdom, and I can even bring.
his two overs and then
Right.
check raise him and get him to fold because I think it's more likely that he's gonna peel with the two overs if I lead out
Right,
and then my hand is really vulnerable than it is that he's gonna call a check raise.
right. That makes a lot of sense. We've got an interesting hand here. Joe went with jacks.
I think it just takes it down. Unless, I mean, 10-9 suited is a very pretty hand. It can flop really well. Neighbors is thinking about set mining. He's running good. He's got some on money to spend.
Once you do the accounting and then I feel like put the chips back and see how much,
Yeah,
right?
it's 100% true.
What kind of boat you got?
There's so few live tells I feel like that are like 100% true, but that is
But
definitely.
at the same time, like, does it matter that he's giving that live tell? Because he's
Oh
got
no!
a fold.
Yeah, yeah,
so
that's
it's
what.
like,
You're right. There's some live tells where like you know they're gonna fold,
Right,
you know
right,
they're
right.
gonna call, and it's like.
Do you have to winterize it?
I've never, or like, I mean, I guess it happens, but like if somebody cuts out calling chips, like, and has them, like, you know, in their hand, I've never seen anybody fold. It's always just like a, whatever.
yeah. That's pretty true.
That's the worst one when you're bluffing.
But it's just one of those things where like by the time they've given you that live tell, you've
doesn't-
probably already made your decision.
Well, it
of
doesn't. In that
bluffing,
case,
yeah.
like it's like when you're bluffing, you're
Oh,
just sitting
yeah.
there like, God damn it.
I know. It just.
Please
I
somehow.
actually think I've seen people cut out the chips and then pull them back, where they
I've
like
seen them-
reconsider,
I've seen them cut them out in front. I've
Yeah.
never seen somebody have them,
like in their hand.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
put them down and then fold.
I definitely see people cut them out, and then like look at their what their remaining stacks.
Right,
It's kind
no,
of a
I've seen
tournament
that.
move,
Yeah, yeah,
Where they're
yeah.
like, how many chips am
Right.
I gonna have left if I make this call? And they want to see it. Anderson just folding the 6-2 deuce offsuit instead of defending from the big blind, which is just, it's sad. I'm sad, really. I'm disappointed in you. You're definitely supposed to just call.
Oh man, the state of poker these days.
I know.
Just out here folding 6 deuce off. Just really unbelievable.
Paranoid about his daughter.
No, about the boat freezing. Yeah, so it's like,
So
okay,
you got like
extra heater.
Yeah, for those of you in the chat or watching wherever, we're definitely 100% serious about that.
Yeah.
So we gave you the cabin too?
We're really disappointed that he would fold to a single open from the straddle.
How could you possibly? All right, Pete.
Room.
gonna
Raise
raise.
the most casual raise.
Well, that's
maybe.
just his demeanor at
Never seen
100%.
that.
Like
Yeah.
100% of the time. You will never see him any more stressed out than that.
Gets snap 3-bet with the king 10 off, which is early
That's
versus early. That's pretty
Definitely
ambitious.
spicy.
On gets in there.
On's got the best hand.
Okay.
On should have squeezed from the small blind with his ace-2 suited, I think.
He is never, ever.
Nope, not at this point. Not with On calling in between, too.
And Neighbors is like, oops. This isn't the hand that I want multi-way in a 3-bet pot, but let's see what happens. Pete flops the best of it, On with bottom pair, and Neighbors with the...
King of spades,
Yep.
I guess. Oh, that board must be
I
wrong.
think the board read wrong. I think there was a queen.
There was a queen,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, but still spades. So 2 spades and top pair for Pete. I don't think he's going to fold. I don't think On's going to fold either. Oh, but On does.
That seems
I mean, that
pretty
does.
reasonable.
I think
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
a
yeah.
fold.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And Pete is...
Pete's going to check
Ooh,
raise
gonna
here.
go for the little...
Just a min click check raise. Makes it 350. Neighbor's going to snap fold, I think.
Yeah, I can't say I am the biggest fan of that play from Pete. I think in this spot, you're either
I don't
just...
hate it. I think it's more of a raise for information than it is anything else, you know? I don't think he necessarily is raising... I think he's, especially with the sizing, you know, the min click, I think he's just basically like, I don't know, if you have better than a queen, then you're going to re-raise here or something. And if you don't, then you probably just fold. But
So-
Neighbors, I think flat calling there is setting up some kind of bluff or
and
something.
it's just, that's not going to work.
Nope.
Right. No, it's not, like, you just don't have a, like, I think for Neighbors, like, maybe it's, like, it's so little, right, that he has to call when he gets min clicked, that it's worth it. And, like, if he picks up equity with, like, a jack or a spade,
Right.
then he can try and run some fancy bluff.
Yeah,
But
no, I was
now I
just thinking
just
away
think
from
you
it.
just, like,
Yeah.
are just, you're like,
I agree. I think he was looking to pick up equity on the turn or
Right.
set up a bluff,
Right,
and
right.
when he 100% bricks and
he keeps betting.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay. That was an adventure. It didn't go that well.
It was an interesting hand though.
Right. I mean, I liked it. I like the aggression. It's
For sure.
just ran into that tough spot.
Yeah, and I think Pete made it very clear he was not folding that hand. So there's
Right.
no use in trying to get him off top pair. That's just not going to happen.
Right.
But great information for future hands because Pete will probably continue to play that way. And in the future, when you just have an overplay pair there, Pete's probably going to pay you off with top pair.
Right.
You know? So that's the information that you need.
Yeah, you just like, it's a private game.
Sometimes it's just very expensive to get.
And, you know, I told him when I first met him, I'm like, hey, let's just settle like a day later or a day after, whatever it is. I'll pay
All
you,
right,
pay me.
Caitlin
Okay, we gotta do it.
has been fairly content.
It was a great
Tonight,
game.
suited ace, raises it up.
The last one,
Jalen
he only like $3,600 for one night. And so I texted
really
him 2 days later,
gonna
"Hey,
just
what's
3-bet a lot.
this,
Wow.
Yeah.
King 6 suited.
I go, well, your market
Definitely power hour.
I mean, I really like
Definitely
it,
power.
and I'm not going to lie. I might do the same thing.
Yeah, I'll settle it. And then he texts me and goes, hey.
It's-
Yes, just gonna get a fold. It looks like. Oh.
Yep, going to get
And he
through.
goes, hey, probably for a while.
Did you get paid?
I have grown to really love the King 5 suited, the Gordon nuts, and I've won a lot of big hands with it.
Yeah.
1%.
And I like to play it as a 3-bet, particularly from like the small blind or whatever. Like I'm not gonna just flat there, so
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna play it as a
No, I
3-bet.
think that's super reasonable. I think like there's like subtle differences as to why like King 5 or King 4 are better.
Yes, I agree.
Right?
Then King 6
than
for
King
sure.
6.
King six, I think is for me is probably just a little there,
But I mean, definitely just on stream.
but
get there,
Jaywin
mix
is
it
a
up.
little bit more adventurous than me, a lot more studied than me. So
Yeah, I think
he probably has a better understanding of what he's trying to accomplish there.
Yeah, the cool thing about Jalen is like he definitely knows that like post flop he's just gonna make fewer mistakes too, right? So he's
That's it.
like,
I mean, well,
I can
that's
get
the
a little
reason that
spicy,
I'm
but
more willing to play a lot of speculative hands, and I think if you're at a table where you feel like you can navigate post flop better than your opponents,
right,
then you open up your range and you play more
yeah,
hands.
you can do these non-standard things where you're like very
Yeah.
confident that like I'm gonna play better post flop even if I'm like not playing the best hands pre. Ethan in a dream spider with kings 4 ways.
Ugh,
Welcome to
that
Texas.
sucks.
And like this is a flop where you're just like
On has top pair
Yeah.
and a club, and I think Ethan is just gonna get paid.
yeah, and you're just like as
Oh, really?
and
Yeah, it
oh,
needs to be passed, though.
Ethan tracks.
Literally no.
Yeah, he's getting tricky here.
Yeah.
And I think the reality is that Ethan knows exactly
Ben White on the way to the airport.
This is like a really
what
nice,
he's trying to accomplish, which is
Yeah,
uh,
That was so
that
so hard to get into.
he's going to get somebody else to hang themselves in this hand. It's
Yeah.
just,
this is a really nice spot to check raise with kings. I feel like.
I don't know, I kind of just like I mean, I guess for protection.
Well, once I think neighbors called, right? So
Yeah,
this
now you
is
have to.
a spot where you're
Now
just
you
like-
have to check raise here.
Yeah, I feel like this is. a
If
spot
neighbors folds, I think you just call against on.
Well, 3 weeks. I've been there a few times, but I don't know how much I can help you.
I just want to go
And there it is.
There you go.
550
Not, it won't kill you.
is the bet.
I don't want big fucking rooms. No, I want it like 5 foot tall. Is that big? I don't know. I've seen those 60-foot waves.
If you can do a 5
Like you just benefit a lot here from taking the betting lead back, et cetera, right? Like,
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
there's like,
I don't want any coral reef.
yeah, you lose to set of nines.
If you really are
Honor is
curious,
gonna make a
sometimes
really, really adventurous call here.
Yeah, I mean, you could also be up against Jack 10.
beginner
Right, but that's what there's so many like. As,
I think Jack 10 of clubs is
Yeah.
just
But, like-
re-raising you here without a doubt.
with the way that the action went, right? Like you just there's so many draws out there, right? That you just have to charge with kings, and you're just kind of in a spot where it's just like, if they have a set, they have a set.
You know, neighbors. That was
Yeah, so
my
this just seems like a pretty trivial fold for neighbors.
when I was in school. I could never spell.
Make it.
She never got to restaurant. That was the one.
Oh, restaurant? No.
So this is an interesting spot. I feel like where On's hand looks so much stronger than it actually is.
Like,
Yeah.
I misspelled balloonist. Every word ends in ES.
4 of hearts
Why wouldn't it
changes
balloonist end in ES?
essentially nothing.
Pretty interesting spot for him. FPR is like 2, so like
I missed Mimic. I know.
Yikes.
Not sure if you're
Put a
really
K on the
I
end?
was 10. No, and
Is Ethan going to try and pull an on against on and do a double check raise?
I studied for weeks for the 5th grade spell. I can't get up their first word.
it feels ambitious.
It does. I think
This is like a really, really tough spot because like
as Caitlin exits
On's
stage,
calling range is so strong seemingly,
I've done far more embarrassing things.
but it's on too, right?
those,
So it's like
the kids that do the spelling bee, these, oh my God, you're just sitting there going,
that's 1,000.
how the
2/3 pot. On is sitting on 3.1. Then looks like all in our fold mode, and it's
Yeah,
gonna
looks
be
like he's
the
gonna ship it.
former.
I'm just gonna get snap
there's a
called.
guy,
Yeah.
I mean, you hate it, and you're just like, all right.
he's autistic and he
It's on.
can play
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
upside down.
You're not
You
fist
love making
bumping.
this
Yeah,
call
you're
with
definitely not
kings.
fist bumping.
Put on his message board, he'll start playing. I mean, he could hit any song at all in and then he has Rubik cubes everywhere, and they're all done. You know, he knows how to do those. You ever see those kids that do like 45 of them? They look at each one of
This
them.
is just such a tough spot.
And then they do them
I
all.
feel.
Don't they just learn the combos of how to
There's
do
multi-way,
it?
and
Yeah,
then like,
there's a, yeah.
I mean, On could just have 9-8 here, too, and
On
you're
is
still losing.
plenty of things that beat you, but he also has like a lot of really logical bluffs, right? Like he has 2K and
I mean, I
2.
know how to solve it like the hard way, where it's like you get the corners.
The question in my like the question I want to know the answer to is: does On think he has the best hand?
I've only just
Because I can't tell.
You're never getting called by.
And do it in 4 minutes. Solve them
Pretty
while he was juggling.
I guess like maybe you could get called.
if I fucking
Like a draw, like yeah, ace king of clubs or jack 10 of
Yeah.
clubs.
All right. Oh, he says
One
one
time.
time.
One
Ethan says
time.
one time. Ooh.
Changing that.
Ooh. And Ethan's like, I just got rivered. This is so gross,
I
right?
know that ace
And-
looks so bad.
And On shows him the queen of clubs, and Ethan's like,
Yeah, ace of clubs is the card that,
The-
from
yeah, the-
Ethan's perspective, he's like, that's the only thing I don't want. Just don't put the ace of clubs on the
no
board.
club, no club. Yeah.
No club and no ace.
Yeah.
You know,
Oof.
because that's definitely the other thing he could have is ace king of clubs, ace 4 of clubs. Well, no, probably
Well,
ace
no.
3 of clubs though would be.
Yeah, but the ace of clubs.
Oh
right?
yeah,
So,
that's
like, you
true.
can't really-
Yeah. So
It's
he
actually
can
like
have
okay. It's just no club, right? Because a lot of his
that. Jack 10 of clubs.
yeah,
is
a lot of
probably
his
the
bluffs
hand
are
that-
gonna be
yeah.
like combo draws. I feel like.
Austin and Carol.
But when you're playing against On, sometimes he just has queen nine.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I
a
think,
really interesting hand.
I think it's my question really is: does On think his hand is best there?
Yeah, I think that is a really good example of where you get into problems with
It's gonna be on
calling opens with hands like that, like queen nine, right? Because then you have top pair.
Why?
Seems like an overplay to shove.
Oahu.
That's right. 'Cause, like,
Oahu is the island.
That's where Waikiki
That's right, Waikiki.
over the big corporate resorts are.
yeah, Ethan has to be really strong, I think, right?
Waikiki Beach, White Plains.
What's that?
Ethan just has to be so like. Ethan's just gonna be very strong in that spot, right? Like when he checks and then you bet as On with queen nine there, and then neighbors calls in and Ethan comes over the top, right?
Right.
As the opener, you're just like, what? He just has like no bluffs except for like ace king of clubs, and like, is that even really like a bluff, right? You're just like, there's
Right.
so much equity.
Ace king of clubs or jack 10 of clubs are your two bluffs
Right.
that exist.
And then he has like all those overpairs too, right? So like, I actually think Ethan played pretty well. I'm interested to know if that turn sizing is right though. I think that turn sizing is a little bit weird, but anyways.
What was it? 1,000 into.
But like with SPR how it was, like I guess you're just like, as Ethan, you're just like, unless it's literally the worst river ever, I'm just gonna go for value. Maybe. I don't know. Interesting spot. Anyways,
I charge you for that advice I gave you.
Corey Maddox chiming in said he saw On snap like 600 big blinds with a gutter against middle set and went runner one card flush. He is great for the game. We love On. He's also like the nicest. But he can be really difficult to play against at times too,
Yeah.
just because of his incredibly unorthodox approach to a lot of hands. So, you know, as much as like we just saw him jam all in with top pair of nines, queen kicker.
You're not gonna remember
No, but that's true. Okay, so you said.
you know,
He
there's-
put Ethan in a spot. Like
A lot of
Ethan was
times.
in the blender.
There's a lot of players.
Yeah.
I don't want any reef, that's all. I know I'll hit in skin. I'll take all my skin off my body if I do.
Definitely a fun hand.
You don't want to hit that reef.
Michael Hall saying, I've never played poker before, but I'm sure he thought he had the best
He said
hand.
if you want to survive.
I don't know. I think on probably,
Well, it's not like,
He said if you're a beginner, you should go.
I don't know, because like, his hand is not
Yes.
really strong
It's like
enough.
you have to have the
I
best
don't know.
hand, and you also have to get called by worse,
Yeah.
right? And it's like if you get called, you're getting called by 2 overs and a flush draw there. Right? So it's like, are you betting for like pure equity now? It's like, is Ethan taking that line with like ace king off with ace of clubs, right? And like if he is, then like probably let him. It's better to just smooth call there and let him continue to like barrel off with his bluffs, right? Because once you shove that turn as on, then like Ethan is only ever going to call you with hands that either just have so much equity, right, with like ace king of clubs against your specific thing, or he's just going to have you beat, and you're just not going to have very good equity.
It's a tough spot. It's an interesting hand. On put
Yeah.
Ethan in the blender,
Right.
where another player may have played it much more conservatively and taken a more traditional approach to it, and Ethan might have just not had so much question about like whether or not his kings were good, but probably also that obviously also would not have won as much money there, you know. So if you can figure out how to play against on, I think you can. He's the type of player who you can win big pots against, but if he's running good, he's very dangerous, and you got to be able to
Stomach the
yeah,
variance.
exactly.
I lost.
Looks like we have a new player. Looks like
It's Matt. Yeah,
You did me dirty.
got the artist formerly known as Westlake Matt joining us.
Yeah, you won the big one now.
But Optimize has a really fun seat now. Chewing on
Poor
his-
Blake. Oh my God.
Matt.
Oh, what a rough spot
Yeah.
to be in.
And then, yeah.
No, I'm not
Optimize is saying there like I went from blonde to
I got a house of kids, man. I'm not trying to go.
both tough in their own way.
Yeah.
Maybe in my eating.
Jaywin sitting on 8-6 of hearts.
Got her in a
God,
flush draw.
I can't imagine he folds here. You think it's just a call?
I've actually ran
He wants
pretty
to
good
see a
versus
turn.
like full range.
Sounds like we have 10 minutes left.
Yep, that sounds about right.
You're not supposed to do that? I called horse for a secret earlier. Yeah.
Check on the turn. Interesting. Jaywin just gets there
I
on the
wonder if he's
river.
going to lead her.
So I actually really think Jaywin would have benefited from a check raise on the flop because
It's definitely had you could think about check raising.
yeah, I think
I guess he did bet. Wait, is this right? He
Yeah.
bet that's a really big flop bet.
yeah, he's obviously trying to protect against the flush draw.
This bet I don't like.
Yeah, me neither. I think you just check it back
What are you
there.
trying to get value from?
I think he's turning his hand into a bluff. And he's
You
just
have, like,
picking
Way
the
too
absolute
much-
worst
yeah.
possible
I think you
time.
just have way too much showdown to turn this hand into
I
a bluff,
agree.
right? And now you're just like,
You're like, oh, shoot. I was wrong. And I think Jaywin's check here on the river is one of those things that a lot of times Blake is just going to check this back, obviously. But Blake fell into the trap and went ahead and bet river, which I don't really understand the line here because
it's tough for Optimize because like, I mean it's really tough for Optimize. Just like as played, I think it's really tough because like he.
yeah, I think I just don't understand what he's trying
I
to
think
get
you
value
should just
from
check.
either. Yeah, I think you just
back
check
the
back
river is a lot
river.
better there.
Yeah.
Because when you get when you check raised, you're just like in such a not fun spot, especially against a player as capable as J1, where like he's gonna find creative bluffs there, right? So you're just kind of forced to like pick hands that are good. Yeah. You kind of want the other player to have a 10, so Jack 10 isn't that great, but you also don't have a heart.
Don't put anything on Twitter until tomorrow. Think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Seems
it's
pretty
just a
iffy.
standard check back there. You have a ton of
Yeah.
showdown value.
Yeah.
There's no reason to bet.
Right. That seems like
Um,
yeah.
Your hand, you. There's no reason to bluff that hand. So when it checks to you, I think you just consider that in and of itself the win.
Famous.
I mean, really, it's the politics.
You think that they're actually like
Ragnarovi, I will probably strip your powers, although I don't really want to. It kind of makes my life easier to just have you in here as a mod, but no one told me to add any mods, so I guess I should probably remove it. All right, we got Ethan, J-Win, and Optimize tangling up again. Nobody has anything good.
Nick Rivers. You heard Matt?
Yeah, Nick Rivers.
Nick Rivers.
Ace of spades, 4 diamonds, 5 diamonds is the flop. No one holding a diamond in their hand. And 3 is a gutter. Deuce is a gutter. Ethan has jack high. King of diamonds on the turn.
But I mean, like, what are you supposed to do? Now what?
J-Win holding the winner again.
I also think you're a woman, you're gonna get on. Yeah, he goes. Jaylen's got the fucking.
He's got the pass.
Check, check.
I mean, how big is the clientele that wants to play Fridays and Saturdays?
7 on the river changes nothing.
Right, yeah. I'd rather have it all in one.
Yeah, but.
I think this is just
So,
a
yeah.
check,
So
check.
is that gonna change?
No,
Yeah.
you get the same.
J-Win again. This is the spot where you check back with that king. The similar spot where, like, you have a ton of showdown value.
It's like
The
pretty,
last thing you want is to get check raised,
yeah.
and your opponent could be, checking to try and induce bluff. So, why bet it if you have a hand that could win at showdown?
Should we do one last gamble?
Oh yeah, let's go. That way someone either wins or loses.
You first, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm punctuating those on purpose.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying those will still come through, even if the mic's not. She's coming, right?
Yeah, Austin Carroll. Does Sus still work here? Did he ask?
No, he was.
I thought last,
He was
like on
here last
Thursday.
week.
Well, he's not doing
I
the
swear
game.
that was like a
anymore.
rumor for like a solid 2 months.
He's not getting the game together, so.
No, it's all person now. We just happened to be.
All right, we're in there. I think I'm feeling good about this roll. Nope, just kidding. 35. That's not good. All right. You should get a 33. That's what you should roll. Nope, you rolled an 89.
Nice. All right. Winner, winner.
All the jacks accounted for in this hand. And the player with 2 of them is going to win.
Seems reasonable.
Let's get some stats up here before we end this stream.
More hands, maybe.
So, yeah, we got a couple more hands, but just
Well, he lives in Hawaii. It's my brother.
give you a little update. Ethan,
On the tighter side.
the top of the leaderboard, plus 4.8K.
There was one that.
J-Win, Caitlin, Neighbors, Slicer, and Pete. Anderson has not made any progress. I don't think he has played many hands since taking a loss
They don't like.
early on.
Yeah. He's had a tough time.
So let's just see. So or VPIP stats in case you're wondering. Neighbors has played 53% of the 16 hands that he's had, so, you know,
But
not a whole lot.
that's pretty
Matt at 0%.
What a nit.
I know. God,
3
what is
hands.
he doing?
He hasn't played any of the 3.
All right, back to the action. Slicer opening up to 75 with ace
I
queen
didn't want to pull
suited.
and then, like, cards are
He's getting called by king queen suited and
Ooh,
then by
aces.
king queen offsuit and then ace
Wow,
queen
this should be a
offsuit
fun
and
hand.
then
Wow, everybody has an hand.
I don't think Matt called. Oh no, Matt did not call with 7 deuce. The 7 deuce
Good.
game is not on.
pretty ambitious,
But he had
yeah.
2 very live cards. Everyone else is sharing outs. Pete, I think, has more live cards than Ethan or Slicer.
This is not very fun.
Ethan gonna get away from it. So we're gonna go aces versus ace queen. There are no more aces in the deck,
Very
so
disciplined fold from Ethan.
I think I might go see the
Slicer is
Need some clubs.
yeah. Oh, he's
And
got
there's
it. There they
2.
are. Wow.
So Optimize is putting a small ish here with pretty much his entire range, I imagine. So I imagine he's going to go for a sizing of about 350.
Bam. Nailed it. 325.
And Slicer here.
Gonna call.
Nothing to do besides call. And there. Oh, Optimize only has 1 point. Okay. SPR is like almost.
And now Slicer is trying to
Yeah. Optimize is like, oh, that's a good card.
or drawing to the last 6 in the deck
Yeah.
for a chop. So Optimize gonna check it over. Definitely
just-
sneaky, I think.
Don't think it's going to work.
I don't think so either, but he's trying. Ooh. If Optimize has ace king, then Slicer just got there and has him beat. So he might be able to get
I'd really
a
like to
small
see-
value bet paid here.
You weren't part of ATX poker?
No, I didn't make it past the initiation stage.
They're really dependent on sizing, but I don't think I like this bet.
Half pot. It's just like
Too, like, with it, if you're Slicer and you're holding,
Spicy chicken.
I think he's gonna pay him
I
off.
guess I'm sort of surprised.
I mean,
Like,
it's
because-
like he knows he's losing to anyone who has a pair in his hand, but there's nothing else. Like, there's no way that Optimize has a 6, 7, or a 4. So either you had a pair in your hand pre-flop, which obviously entirely possible given the way that it played out, or
Interesting.
I have your ace king beat. I think that's what he's thinking.
Yeah. Is Optimize taking the bet check bet line with ace king though? Like maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seems possible.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. Interesting. I mean, he didn't seem to think about it for too long. So I guess, like,
I mean, I think realistically, when he turns the effective nuts, yeah, I think he is taking a bet check bet line, be- so that he can hope to get called by something like a river nut flush.
yeah.
So I don't hate it. You know? I think if he
Yeah.
bets
No, I
turn,
think-
I think if he bets turn, I don't think Slicer calls.
No, I think the way Optimize it played it is super reasonable and just like I don't know that you beat.
So the Cedar Park one or the downtown one?
I mean,
Who, Slicer?
yeah,
When you hang out the lake?
Yeah, he doesn't beat much.
yeah. Like you.
He's losing to pocket threes. Like, I mean,
Well, he's just losing.
like
Just
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, yeah.
Wednesday, we're supposed to go out at 6. and then
But you're like everything enough, so whatever.
Right. And the sizing was small enough that
Yeah, it was
I think
a good,
he just
good
felt
size.
like,
Yeah, he's like, all right, it's small.
like, I don't like it.
Right.
But I mean, ace high in and of itself is good here. occasionally.
Yeah, he's like
very
yeah.
rarely, but I can beat ace high, so.
Are the ones out from high school. She's a senior next year. So this is what I told her. I said,
Last hand of the night.
Last hand of the night. Gary C., you can be moderator for this hand, and then your mod privileges are done. Just kidding. I'm not going to make you moderator. It would be funny.
Right back in
So
there.
maybe like her, what do they call it?
Yeah, you just got chips. Obviously.
You know what I'm talking about? It's such a great concept. I love it.
Yeah.
It's an off year.
Yeah, oh yeah, some weird.
Alright, so we got,
Exact
Yeah, that's probably going to take it down because Neighbors has effectively nothing.
8 times.
3 to a straight, 3 to flush, but avoid that.
No.
Favors his opponent's range a lot.
No, no, I'm trying to find a place.
Stand
came here to
corrected.
play, man.
Stand corrected.
I do think it's safe to say that. Oh, and there's a
Oh,
club.
he just
Now he's
trades
just got the nut
such a
club
good
draw.
card.
And got her to Broadway. Like, beautiful card for him. Optimize and shut this down. I think Neighbors probably recognize Optimize's play. Like, just that he is c-betting most flops, regardless of his
Yeah, I
holdings.
like that. Optimize still has like a massive range.
Yeah, of course.
This bet makes a lot of sense. He also has one of the worst hands he's gonna have ever here.
But I think Neighbors float on the
Nice,
flop
yeah.
also makes sense, just because, you know,
Last hand of the night.
let's go nuts. Just rip it all in. Let's go.
This is a really sick call. That would be a really.
I think he's gonna raise.
I love it. He's gonna get this.
Oh, he is getting
Yeah,
raised.
great play.
How much a baggage fee?
I mean, he picked up a ton of equity. Oh no, he's gonna fold it.
So much we know how to do it. So we wear heavy stuff and put the light stuff in and go.
It is scary to raise here because Optimize can have aces, kings, and ace king, and you're just never getting those hands to fold, I imagine.
Losing your bag, carrying them on taxis.
The amount of time he's taking to think about this is a tell one way or another, but it's always questionable which way it is. Is it? I mean, it doesn't matter because Optimize has nothing, but he is gonna put in the raise
Come with us.
and gets a snap fold. And
Makes
Optimize
sense.
is just like, I was kidding. And he shows him the queen high, and he's like, yeah, queen high was good, dude.
Good by so much.
Yeah.
You don't even know. Right. He's like, yeah.
He's like, oh, I guess I still had 2 live cards. So.
Neighbors is sitting there in that spot like, God, I bluffed him off an ace. So great, right? And Optimize is there like, yeah, dude, 8 high was, I had 8 high.
What's up, Lottie? You got here just in time. When she was saying last hand, was she talking to them or us? Us. That was it? All right,
All right.
that's it. It's over.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you guys for joining
Have
us.
a good week.
Someone get rid of these bots.
Dogs, I got my dogs watching TV right now. They're watching live stream.
This is still him.
Ladies attacking us. Here she comes.
Someone's still tracking this.
Jesus, I'm just calling you. No idea.
You know what? When I was 22, I ate like football too, man. I didn't appreciate food.
All right, cool. Yeah, that was fun. Maybe before that. Can you just make sure that the mics are muted? Yeah, I think she was talking to them, not me.
But, I think that's a good framework. Kind of like the math.
Oh, yeah, said extra onions, I want grilled onions, I want regular onions, I don't give a fucking onion on the burger.
Texas toast though.
But, so I sat down, looked at one, I took like 2 bites, that's why I was
Finished up in Paris.
okay, my daughter would fucking kill me, right? She might just like, it's hard to find people, they're eager to get fucked, right? I'm like, I told the burger people, you know? It's like, what the fuck is extra onion, give me more onion?
I'm surprised you didn't check before you went. Not that you're.
No, I just ate it and said, fuck it, I swallowed my pride. Yeah, it's like a touristy
Straddle.
Yeah, a lot.
I mean, there's a lot of history in Europe. You know what I mean? Like,
Culturally, man, so much fun.
yeah, so just like knowing what happened in the past is kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
interesting.
You know, when I took the day, I took a day tour of the Coliseum. Amazing.
Yeah.
Shit you wouldn't believe happened. They actually, they did mock, so they brought wooden ships in, built them inside the Coliseum, flooded the Coliseum, and had mock battles.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I did not.
Fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, really? 3 animals went extinct during that time.
Talking Kings, which is Queen
Yeah,
Nine
yeah,
on
I mean-
on the Great Pyramid.
Check. Small bluff. I think I had to be. No. Hadn't dropped yet. Are you fucking really checking? Nice.
Yeah, your chicken should be here.
Hey, whatever y'all do, don't eat the blueberry Kit Kats up there. Dude, I was like, blueberry, let's do it. And it tastes like Vaseline.
That's our number one seller.
No, fuck off, man. You don't even. I was trying to give you one, you wouldn't eat it.
Because I gotta save it for the customers. They're the number one seller.
I had like 2 hands and one
Go
of mine
get a
was like
blueberry
3K.
Kit Kat.
I've seen an ace of maybe 4 times all night, and it's been like ace 6, ace 8, and like in the big blind. Like I'm looking at 6 and a lot. Like, and we go like,
Tell them anything that's like interesting.
make it even 6 to the net.
And I'm like, I stopped in the middle of traffic on Mason, and I'm like, I grab one like this, he's like, listen to shit. He's like, "You're on the phone." Trying to pull him out of the middle of traffic. I'm like, grab him, he's like, you gotta wait for the
I think he plays more now.
It's so good.
Yeah, he's on like 3 different teams a week and he plays after the. Yeah. No, they filmed that one. I want to play.
They watch Holdem, right?
Yeah.
They both come in the summer and they make a whole show out of it. How is he doing?
So he probably played like 2 days worth of filming for that.
2 more hands. But he's back.
This one has been a bomb fight. That one here.
Whatever it is. Good. I mean, he panicked and looked at her.
That sounds
And
good.
hollered at us in the
Oh
street.
yeah.
I'm like,
He's gonna hit something else. But how old is he?
At 8 weeks, when I got him, they both stopped eating and lost like 3/4 of their weight. They couldn't even walk. I took them in.
Were they protesting?
They're fasting. The animal hospital on a Sunday. We had to like 2 days freaking like none. I'm like, holy fuck, I just got some motherfuckers last week. I go, fuck you. She was closer to me than I think it was. It's fucking.
And ventilators?
Well, you know what? No, you want to be the oh yeah, you're an asshole. Well, here's some IV bags and some masks and like pre-op.